Hello. Welcome to the Fanfic Majesty. If you want more content, you can follow me on Patreon. I will be uploading more content on there that will be exclusive. The link is in the description. Please support me. 17 SWTF. Chapter 401. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Fishman Street was originally a large-scale place for orphans 16 years ago. Later, due to the incompetence of management, Fishman Street has become a dead zone. The most important thing here is the Hody Jones' new Murloc pirates. From the hard shell tower, Hanxing appeared here. If the other places in the Fishman Island are described as heaven, this is hell. Dirty, messy, bad, these words are used here. It is very accurate. You can see murlocs lying on the ground everywhere on the street, and there is even a sour smell in the air. Hanxing frowned. The Fishman Island has such a place. It's really eye-opening. After inquiring about the residence of Hody Jones and others from a fishman, Hanxing walked towards it. At the end of Fishman Street, a building with a different style appeared in Hanxing's sight. The reason for the difference is that the entire Fishman Street is basically a single-story house with dark walls and a foul smell. As for the one in front of me, not only the outside walls are extremely clean and there is no peculiar smell, but the whole house is also a 3-story villa with a very large area, more than 3 times that of other places in Fishman Street. Hanxing is standing in front of the door. This is where the new Murloc pirates are stationed. New Murloc Bar. The big plaque on the door hangs there. Pushing the door and entering, in the spacious hall, there are only 2 people standing at the bar, but there are very few Murlocs drinking. Do the guests need something to drink? As Hanxing walked in, a squid man approached and asked impatiently. Hanxing raised his brows, just in this tone. No wonder there was no one here. Of course, Hanxing believed that Hody Jones and others did not rely on this bar to eat. This bar should be open to cover up and make X medicine. Does your tavern have this kind of service attitude? What's wrong with this service attitude? Drink it if you like it, and leave if you don't. Icarus Muxi said in a stern voice. Forget it. I don't need to be angry with a dead man, murmured softly. In the next instant, Hanxing appeared in Icarus, and his thin palm was as fast as lightning, pinching his neck out. Advertisement. Boy, do you know what you are doing? Shark Body Dharma looked fierce. I can make the decision to let Icarus go as if nothing happened. Otherwise, you will never get out of Murloc Street. As Hody Jones up there, Hanxing opened his mouth and asked back. Are you looking for the captain? What are you looking for him for? Body Dharma asked in confusion, even forgetting that Icarus was in Hanxing's hands. Kill him. The words are over. Click. The crisp sound of bone breaking sounded. Icarus, whose face was flushed and his body shook violently, lost his breath of life. Icarus, you actually killed him. Dharma was shocked and then angry. As soon as he finished speaking, a suction force came from the opposite man's hand. Before he could think about it, he heard a click, and his consciousness gradually fell into darkness. After dealing with these 2 little guys, Hanxing then threw it away and walked to the 2nd floor. The electromagnetic induction is always on, and after the cold room, the number of people in the room is instantly sensed. Blah blah blah. Flat footsteps sounded on the 2nd floor. What happened to Icarus? Why is there some noise down there? Twos, the leader of the new Fishman pirates, shouted in dissatisfaction. He was answered by a calm and usual sound of feet. Tosa's face sank, and he stood up from the soft sofa. His longtime partner had a very clear temperament towards Icarus and Dharma. All get up, something has happened, Twos said with a serious look when he woke the members of the pirate ship who were sleeping around. What's wrong, Twos? I'm sleeping soundly, Leonfish muttered in dissatisfaction. Advertisement. Then one by one woke up from their deep sleep and opened their sleepy eyes. Shut up, something's going on down there, Toth roared with a serious face. The members of the new Murloc pirates who complained in the next instant woke up, and the footsteps when they went upstairs became louder and louder. Amidst the serious faces of everyone, Hanxing appeared in everyone's sight. Yo, they're all here. Hanxing raised his eyebrows and greeted. Who are you? What about Icarus and Dharma below? Toth asked seriously. They are dead, Hanxing said indifferently. You killed them. Did you know he's a member of our new Murloc pirates? No, how dare you? Come on, brothers, avenge Icarus and the 2 of them. Toth yelled, took a deep jump with a hammer, and appeared in front of Hanxing. The huge hammer was raised high, and the violent force made the air burst into roars. Boom, a dull sound resounded around. Hanxing calmly held Toth's hammer with one hand, and pointed at the index finger of the other hand, and the gray-black electric arc emanated from the end of the finger. Crackle, crackle, an electric arc sounded, and Toss turned into a charred corpse. Toss. The expressions of the people who were watching the show changed, and they picked up their weapons and rushed towards Hanxing. Invisible ripples erupted from Hanxing's body, and the powerful repulsion destroyed the sky and the earth, covering the entire convenience in an instant. Advertisement. Bang bang bang. The Murlocs were shrouded in repulsion, their faces changed greatly, and they slammed into the surrounding walls like a meteor shower. The sturdy wall was vulnerable to this repulsive force, like paper paste, a big hole was knocked out, and the remaining power was not diminished, and it flew towards the distance. In the blink of an eye, Hanxing was the only one left in the spacious room. Hody Jones, who was developing X medicine on the 3rd floor, naturally heard such a loud noise. He frowned, his eyes were fierce, and his figure disappeared quickly in place. Call out. When the afterimage flashed, Hody Jones appeared on the 2nd floor, looking at the messy ground in front of him and the corpse of Toth, his face gloomy as water. Who are you? Why are you attacking our new Murloc pirates? My name is Hanxing. By the order of Princess Shirahoshi, the Murloc pirates will disappear from this world. He grinned, his voice extremely cold. Impossible, Hody Jones shouted. Who in the whole of Fishman Island doesn't know that Princess Shirahoshi is kind and cowardly, and would never give such an order? You should tell me who sent you. Saying that, a few red, crystal-like particles appeared in Hody Jones' hand, which was the X drug he successfully developed. Can greatly increase the body's various abilities in an instant, such as speed, strength, endurance. The side effect is to shorten a person's lifespan. The more you eat, the more you shorten it. Shirahoshi is kind, but if he instigated a Murloc rebellion and killed Princess Odahime, I think Shirahoshi wouldn't let his mother-killing nemesis go even if he was kind. Hanxing sneered, and Hanxing's eyes were extremely cold. B. Princess Edgy, what do you know? Hody Jones' face changed, his face was extremely blue, his eyes were full of killing intent. I know everything you know, and I know everything you don't know. All you need to know is that today is your day of death. Said indifferently. Hanxing didn't intend to waste time here. The next moment, the whole person disappeared in place. Underscore. Chapter 402. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. So fast, Hody Jones whispered inwardly, frowning. Gum. The next second, without the slightest hesitation, he swallowed the X-Fierce medicine he had just developed into his stomach. The rich energy erupted from the body like a volcano, and Hody Jones felt the constant power in the body, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Infatuated and intoxicated, he said, "It's really a good move, I will develop more in the future." At this moment, a sound of air breaking sounded in front of Hody Jones, the black whip legs turned into afterimages, and the air was torn apart and appeared in front of Hody Jones. Looking for death, just use you to try the birth of my new drug. The white shark claws are placed across the chest, and they are grabbed at the shadow of the legs in front of them. Boom, a dull sound resounded around. A gust of wind blew from the two of them, blowing the whole house rustling. Hody Jones grabbed Hanxing's whip leg with confidence on his face. "With the X-Fierce medicine, my strength has increased exponentially. Even if your strength is very strong, you are still not my opponent." The strength that is improved by taking drugs. In the final analysis, these are not their own strength. If I guessed correctly, these drugs must have serious side effects. Hanxing smiled lightly, not panic at all. Hody Jones' eyes panicked, and Sen sneered, "So what? As long as I can get power, it's just a little side effect, I can bear it. These powers will kill you enough." "Kill me, you're afraid that your brain has been kicked by a donkey." The strong force is like a stormy sea, the huge waves are rolling. Hody Jones turned into an afterimage, smashed the surrounding walls, and flew into the distance. Advertisement. The roaring and ferocious force was like a volcanic eruption, and it continued to flow continuously, drawing a graceful arc in midair, and after crashing into multiple buildings in succession, Hody Jones appeared on a broken building on the edge of Fishman Street. Walking out of the collapsed wall, Hody Jones was bleeding from the corners of his mouth, and his eyes were full of disbelief. How is it possible? How is it possible? Nothing is impossible. In the face of absolute strength, your drug-taking behavior is nothing more than a clown jumping beams and making people laugh. Hanxing appeared in front of Hody Jones and said indifferently. Absolute strength. Don't be kidding. No matter how strong you are, what's the use? I have X medicine, and you are not my opponent even if you are strong. Hody Jones looked crazy. Saying that, he took out a big push of the red pill from his arms, took a big mouthful, and ate it all in one go. With these medicines, I am an invincible existence. Hody Jones looked at his hands fascinated raised his head and smiled grimly. His voice was extremely cold. You can die. Call out. In the next instant, Hody Jones turned into an afterimage, like a fast Mercedes-Benz cheetah, and appeared in front of Hanxing in an instant. The 5 fingers are vacantly grasped, and the sharp nails are flashing with cold light, and they wave at Hanxing. Afterimage formation, 5 sharp nails turned into 5 white arcs, cut away. Whoosh, indifferent struggle, with an indifferent sound, Hanxing's voice flashed at will, dodging Hody Jones's attack. The next moment, he clenched his fist like a meteorite, with bursts of sonic booms, and a punch slammed into Hody Jones' abdomen. Puff, a mouthful of blood mixed with tiny pieces of meat spewed out of Hody Jones' mouth. How is this possible? He clutched his stomach, his whole body was in pain like a spasm, his legs unconsciously knelt on the ground, feeling the powerlessness gradually coming from his body, his voice was full of unwillingness. Advertisement. Nothing is impossible. Hanxing shook his head. Turning around and running into the distance, his heart was broken, and Hody Jones was sure to die. Noah is an ancient giant ship, half the size of the Fishman Island. The residents of the Fishman Island worked together hundreds of years ago and placed it on the Fishman Street. Hanxing pondered Noah's few memories in his mind, and walked there. Noah's location is easy to recognize. Because of his size, he can see the huge ship in the distance when he comes to Fishman Street. And Vanderdeacon Ix, who has always feared Shirahoshi, is hiding there. Noah was not very far from Fishman Street, and it didn't take long for Hanxing to appear in front of Noah. The electromagnetic induction sensed the human body's magnetic field inside, and Hanxing showed a sneer at the corner of his mouth, moving towards the depths of Noah. Noah's body is a ship, but it's not wrong to say that it is an island. Along the way, Hanxing locked the human body fluctuations inside, leisurely looking at the scenery on the huge ship, as if he was traveling. Vanderdeacon Ix, in addition to being a target fruit ability, other strengths can be described as garbage. Compared with the new Fishman pirates Hody Jones, it is far worse. The strength of the captain determines the strength of the members of the pirate group. Hanxing thinks this sentence is correct. After easily killing Dakan Ix's members of the pirates, Hanxing came to the deepest part of Noah. This is also where Vanderdeacon Ix was hiding. Who are you? What are you doing here? Dakan Ix, who was fantasizing about going out with Shirahoshi in the future, heard the movement outside, walked out from inside, looked at the unconscious little brother, his face darkened. Dakan Ix, the target fruit ability person, because he is an ability person, he has lost the characteristics of Murloc swimming in water, so he must apply the upstream coding when he is active in the water. Advertisement. And this person has a strong possessiveness and jealousy, like Shirahoshi, and it can be said that he will do anything to get Shirahoshi. Even using his ability to intimidate, until now, Shirahoshi has been living in a hard-shell tower. Hanxing looked at the disgusting Dakan Ix in front of him, and read out the information of Dakan Ix word by word. Right, forgot to mention, you probably haven't washed your hands for nearly 0 years in order to get Shirahoshi's breath. That's disgusting. Who the hell are you? What? How can there be any information about me? Dakan Ix was inexplicably horrified, so shocked that he was almost speechless. Whoosh, the dark palm suddenly broke through the air, pinching it on the neck of Dakan Ix, who was still stunned. Let go, me. Dakan Ix's face turned red due to lack of oxygen, he used his hands and feet together, and his body swayed wildly. Sorry, I promised Shirahoshi to bring your brain back to her. The icy voice made Dakan Ix move, and the look in Hanxing's eyes changed, terrified. Kacha was full of panic and unwillingness, and Dakan Ix successfully turned into a corpse. Holding the body of Dakan Ix, Hanxing looked towards the direction of the hard-shell tower, and with a movement, it turned into a black streamer and quickly disappeared in place. The hard-shell tower. At this time, the surrounding area is completely guarded by a group of guards with long spears. Sharkstar held a trident and glanced around with a solemn face. Next to him, a middle-aged man with a body bigger than Sharkstar wearing a crown was walking towards here. Father, why are you here? Xiaoxing hurriedly stepped forward to greet him, his voice a little surprised. I heard that Shirahoshi has some problems here, I'll come and take a look. Nipton said with an ugly face. Chapter 403. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Father, don't worry, I have already asked someone to ask Shirahoshi. Hanxing is indeed here, Xiaoxing replied respectfully, with a hint of doubt on his face. He came here to get Shirahoshi to agree to a request for him. In return, he helped to capture Dakan Ix and let Shirahoshi deal with it. The two are considered a deal. Are you sure that's the case? Neptune's expression changed. Others don't know Shirahoshi's identity. Can he still not know? When Shirahoshi summoned the Sea Kings when he was a child, he is still vivid in his memory, and it is unforgettable to this day. He locked Hanxing in the hard-shell tower, one because of Dakan Ix, and the other because Shirahoshi may be Poseidon, one of the 3 ancient weapons. If you let others know this news, whether Shirahoshi is Poseidon or not, it will be a devastating blow to the Fishman Island. Father, is there something wrong? Sharkstar wondered. It's okay. Neptune shook his head, throwing away the messy thoughts in his mind. Yo, I haven't seen you for a while. I didn't expect King Neptune to come here. Suddenly a voice sounded in their ears. Between reality and reality, Hanxing appeared in front of Neptune and the two of them. Hanxing, I don't know what the little girl has to do with your excellency. Why help the little girl? Neptune looked at the figure in front of him and frowned. It's just a deal, don't worry about it. He waved his hand casually and threw King Dakin the Ninth in front of Neptune and the two of them. Here, this is Dakin X who terrorized Shirahoshi for many years. Now he has been killed by me. My deal with Shirahoshi is complete. One head is exchanged for a favor from Poseidon. This transaction is very cost-effective in Hanxing's opinion. Can you tell me what the deal is between the two of you? Neptune didn't seem to care about Dakin IX's affairs, but was very concerned about the deal between Hanxing and Shirahoshi. It's nothing. It's just that Shirahoshi owes me a favor, Hanxing said indifferently. Humanity. Neptune frowned. Since ancient times, the most difficult debt to pay. And it's about Shirahoshi. He really doesn't want Hanxing to trade. Advertisement. But now that Hanxing has killed Dakin X, the transaction between the two has been completed. If Hanxing is annoyed, it cannot be said that it will be a disaster for the Fishman Island. Although the Fishman Island has Jinbei, one of the Shichibukai, in charge, Neptune and others who know what Hanxing did do not think that Jinbei will be Hanxing's opponent. Thinking of this, Neptune had a headache and said helplessly, your deal with Shirahoshi has been completed, but as a father, I still want to thank you for helping us catch Dakin X. You must know that in order to find him, we have exhausted all the guards in the Dragon Palace City, but we have achieved nothing. No matter what this time, we must thank you very much. I am hosting a banquet in Dragon Palace City, and I hope I can treat you well. The matter has become a fact, since you can't afford to offend it, then make a good relationship, Neptune secretly thought. So, excuse me, Hanxing nodded. The guests and the host enjoyed themselves, and the banquet was held until the evening. I found a room in the Dragon Palace City to sleep at will, and murmured, it is the benefit of strength. Early in the morning, after waking up from a deep sleep, Hanxing came to the side of the port after solving the temple of the 5 internal organs in the Dragon Palace City. Here, Yi Xiao stood on the deck and waited for a long time. In the sealed space, Kagaya tried piles of clothes, accessories, perfumes, lipsticks. With a wry smile in his heart, he felt that letting Kagaya go shopping was his biggest mistake. Captain, you're back. It looks like you've been waiting for a long time. Not long, just got up, Yi smiled and said, after casually chatting a few things, Hanxing said goodbye to Neptune and the others and set off towards New World. Advertisement. To be precise, we set off for the Expo Island. This time, we didn't see Jinbei, the sea warrior, in the Dragon Palace City, which made Hanxing a little disappointed. In Neptune's words, Jinbei went to the Whitebeard pirates, visited Whitebeard, and has not returned. Whitebeard, if I have the chance, I will definitely fight with you. Hanxing looked at the rising sea current around him, and secretly said. Ricard is located not far from New World, with the guidance of the Eternal Pointer, galloping all the way, and successfully arrived here in only half a day. There are water channels around the island, a circular water area in the middle, and crowded audience seats around the water, similar to the ancient Roman Colosseum. The economy on the island is extremely prosperous, with everything to eat, drink, and use, even more prosperous than Sabayati Archipelago. The arrival of the two of Hanxing did not attract anyone's attention. After all, there are too many pirates here, and it is a paradise for pirates. After stopping the merchant ship near the port, Hanxing and Yi Xiao walked ashore. Captain, it's very lively here, Yi smiled and sighed. Yeah, according to legend, the pirates here can easily exceed 10 billion, and it seems that there are not only 10 billion, but 20 billion. What do we do? Are we going to help Bullet? Don't worry, there's still some time before the World Expo starts, just stay here first, and when he is in danger, it's not too late to take action. Let him have a good memory, and don't make any other things in the future. Hanxing said angrily. Let's go to a hotel to rest first. As they spoke, the two walked inside. As soon as the footsteps were lifted, the sound of cheers and air conditioning resounded here. No way, they actually sent someone here. This expo is really fierce. The 4 emperors sent people over, then we have nothing to do. Advertisement. Alas, what a pity, they would be interested in this reward. Hearing the discussions one by one, Hanxing turned his head, and 2 huge pirate ships appeared in his field of vision. It doesn't matter how big the ship is, the key is the 2 flags fluttering in the wind on the pirate ship. Whitebeard Pirates, BIGMOM Pirates, 4 Emperors Part 2. There is a figure standing on the deck of the 2 pirates, the captain of the first team, Zone. You demons, the Phoenix Fruit Margot. Paramecia Glutinous Fruit Ability, Katakuri, known as Kaji. These 2 are the right deputy, the second in command of the pirate group. Behind them are the team leaders of the participating teams and the powerful son of the BIGMOM Pirates. Among them, the most notable are Diamond Yoja, captain of the 3rd division of the Whitebeard division, and Cracker, the Cookie Fruit Ability, one of the 4 dessert generals of the BIGMOM Pirates. The powerful faction sent by the 2 4 emperors directly plunged the scene into silence, and then began to revel. After all, this island is full of pirates, and the BIGMOM Pirates and the Whitebeard Pirates, as the second of the 4 emperors in the sea, can participate with them, which shows the attractiveness and authenticity of the championship reward. Captain, it seems that things have gone beyond Bullet's expectations. He smiled softly. Indeed, I didn't expect the 4 emperors to send people here, it's still 2 4 emperors. I guess some of the bullets played this time. Don't worry, find a place to live first, the 2 said, walking towards the island. Chapter 404. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Along the way, you can encounter big pirates with a reward of over 100 million wandering around and hanging out. To put it in one sentence, over 100 million pirates walk everywhere, 10 million pirates are not as good as dogs, and more than 500 million are masters. Along the lively streets, Hanxing and Yi Xiao bought many local specialties and walked while eating, their mouths stuffed. Oh, I didn't expect him to come too. Hanxing was eating takoyaki, sensing the fluctuation of a familiar human body not far away, and said with a smile. Captain, who is it? With a smile on his cheeks, the Ern sounded furiously. Another member of the pirate ship, Red Earl Redfield. Go and have a look. This guy seems to be waiting for us, Hanxing said, pulling his arms with a smile and walking in a direction. In front of a barbecue stall, Hanxing patted Redfield on the shoulder and said, why? You don't worry about that guy. Come and join in the fun. Said the 2 of them sat down in the seats next to Redfield. A little bit, after all, it's also a crew member on a ship. The Red Earl put down the juice in his hand, and looked at the person next to him with a smile, as this person the new crew member. My name is Yi Xiao, I'll take more care of you in the future. Yi Xiao smiled gently and raised the juice in his hand. You're welcome. The Red Earl did the same, and then they both drank together. After drinking, the 2 became more familiar with each other, and the scene became a bit lively. What is the captain going to do? Want to stop it? Redfield asked with a smile. What's the hurry? This guy dares to make such a big noise. Naturally he has to let him know about the beating from the sea and let him restrain his temper. When did you arrive? Yesterday. Advertisement. Have you found a place to live? Hanxing asked again. No, there are too many people here, and many hotels, inns are full. I'm just going to take a look on the roof outside. They are all too. Hanxing pointed at the surrounding pirates. Those who have a pirate ship live on a pirate ship, and those who don't have a pirate ship are like me, and they will spend one night on the roof here at will. Redfield pondered. That's it. Hanxing touched his chin, then we will spend the next few days on the boat. Okay, but Captain, after this battle, our pirate group will enter the sight of the major pirate groups. Have you thought about the name of our pirate group? Think about it. Purple-eyed Thunder Emperor Pirates, Hanxing said with a deep gaze and a smile. I know the purple eyes. It's the captain's ability, but what does Lighty have to do with the captain? Could it be that the captain is still a Thunder Fruit person? Oldfield said, with even more shock in his eyes. Facing Redfield's inquiry, Hanxing admitted frankly, that's right. 2 abilities. No, I remember when the captain and Kaido fought with the fire ability, it's 3 abilities. 3 abilities, it's amazing. There was a little envy in Letterfield's eyes. The secret treasure devil fruit on the public can only eat 1, and if you take it again, it will explode and die. A person with an ability can only take 1 devil fruit. It is a fact that people on the sea have been groping for hundreds of years. The appearance of Hanxing directly restricts the seating. That's fine. That's how I'm qualified to be my captain, Redfield said with a smile. After the 3 of them talked, Hanxing took Letterfield to the place where they docked the merchant ship, and then they separated directly and went shopping on this bustling island. During this period, Hanxing saw many familiar figures here: Kid, Capone Beige, Drake. Except for Luffy, the supernovas in the original book have basically arrived. Advertisement. In the dark room, Bullet was sitting on the sofa with various surveillance screens in front of him. Suddenly, his eyes narrowed and his brows wrinkled. Sure enough. The captain and the others are here. The person next to him should be the captain's new crew. However, from the looks of it, the captain and the others didn't intend to stop me. It's all right, just go crazy. With a smile on the corner of his mouth, Bullet took the glass next to him and drank it. Time is like running water, and in the blink of an eye, the day of the World Expo will start. Early in the morning, Hanxing, Earl Red and others paid homage to the Temple of the 5 Zang organs, found a seat at random, and watched with great interest the rare pirate expo in the past few years. The sun is high, about 8 o'clock in the morning. Donna Motorot, who presided over the expo, and Annie, the phantom fruit, appeared in the square arena. The appearance of the two represents that this world-renowned pirate expo is about to start. When the time is up, with Motorot's shout, a group of pirate ships that have long been impatient to sail towards the competition site. Along the way, all kinds of pirate ships have tried their best to win the championship. Get the eternal pointer of the legendary pirate King Roger Larutive. To Hanxing's surprise, that kid Luffy also participated in this expo. The participating pirates were like clowns being watched. Hanxing and some other spectators watched with great interest. In the middle of the island's water flow, there was a sudden ripple, and then it turned into a large vortex. Boom. Advertisement. The huge vortex water column rises into the sky, which is shocking again and again. This water column is the road to the sky, and the top of the water column is the end of this competition, Treasure Island. Modaloka roared and explained the sudden change clearly. Afterwards, the pirate ships rushed towards the water column and began to compete fiercely for the first place. Treasure Island. The vegetation above is lush, and the ground is full of natural fragrance, but one thing, there is not a living thing in it. On a steep mountain, there are dense treasures. The most striking thing is a small box next to the jewelry. That is the eternal pointer to Larutive. Boom. The arrival of the pirate ships has broken the tranquility here. The pirate ships are no longer needed here, but the strength is what is needed. Only the tyrannical strength and sweeping all the enemies can take away everything on the island. When all the pirates arrived here, they knew that a chaotic battle started below. Hanxing watched the fierce battle above and was drowsy and had no interest at all. For him, the above battle was like playing at home. The same is true of Red Earl. As a peerless powerhouse who survived in the previous world, the battle above seems fierce, but it is not as good as the aftermath of the battle between Hanxing and Kaido. Let alone a smile. How could a blind man see the battle above? So when the surrounding people were cheering and cheering, the 3 of them were unusually calm and lacked interest. At this time, Modaloka's fierce roar made Hanxing's minds turn to Kaido's screen. Yes, the 4 Emperor's pirates. The 4 Emperor's pirates have appeared. In the picture, Brother Ma and Ka are standing on the edge of Treasure Island with their respective teams. Chapter 405. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. They did not participate in the battle, but looked at each other vigilantly. For the 2 sides, the battle of those people in the distance was just a play. Those who are truly worthy of serious treatment are the 4 emperors. Yo, isn't this Katakuri? What? BIGMOM also wants Larudev's eternal pointer. Marco sneered with his arms crossed. Mom really wants it, or she won't send us here. Whitebeard doesn't want either, Katakuri said calmly. No. Dad sent us here to watch the fun. It's not necessary to get Laludev's eternal pointer. You are different. With BIGMOM's temperament, he must have given you a death order. Margao he spoke without hesitation. Both the 4 Emperor's pirates, the Whitebeard pirates and the Red Hair pirates can be said to be friendly sides, but not so friendly with the BIGMOM pirates and the Beast's pirates. The 2 sides have not fought once or twice before, and only in the last few years has the war slowly subsided. Therefore, it has become the norm for the 2 sides to pinch each other when they meet. Boom, there was a sound of shaking the ground, and the pirates who participated in the competition vomited blood and flew out. The strong noise and battle fluctuations caused the expressions of Margot and Katakuri to change. They know very well that the supernova inside can't cause such a battle fluctuation at all. The only possibility is that there is an accident. Katakuri's right eye flashed red. Advertisement. What did Katakuri see? Do you know who the opponent is? Mar asked loudly. They were all old opponents and naturally knew Katakuri's ability. I don't seem to have to tell you what brother Katakuri saw. Cracker, who was hiding in the Biscuit Warrior, said angrily. Cracker, why do you still want to fight here? Diamond Yoja clenched his fists like a fan and said fiercely. Come on, I'm afraid of you. Cracker was not to be outdone. Shut up, Cracker, Katakuri said coldly. Afterwards, with a very serious expression, he said, that's very powerful. You've seen him before, he's an old friend. He's a crew member of the original One Piece Roger, and he's a descendant of the devil, Bullet, comparable to that of Pluton Rayleigh. Bullet, it's him, the one who created the sea riot back then. Marco frowned. It's just that he was captured by Marine and entered Impel Down. How did he come out? I don't know. It seems that he is the mastermind behind this expo. Katakuri said coldly. His words, it's a bit difficult to handle. Margao wiped his head. This guy's strength was famous in the sea back then, and his strength and prestige were even close to Dad. If that riot had not been made, Bullet might have become the emperor. Forget it, since he's the mastermind behind the scenes. Quit this fight. Anyway, Dad asked us to come over. But you can't do it. Margot Nuyu smiled. Bullet versus BIGMOM Pirates is fun. We will disturb you to capture the eternal pointer to Larutiv. Good luck to you, Margot said with a smile, and led the captains of the divisions back to the Whitebeard pirate ship, falling down. Margot, why? Why should we give up? The burly Joe snarled, his tone full of unwillingness. The other squad leaders didn't say anything, but their eyes were full of unwillingness. As one of the four emperors, even the most powerful of the four emperors, why did they have to listen to one person's name and leave, and let them go to their old rival Big Mom C? Band of thieves. Advertisement. Marco's expression remained unchanged, his eyes were extremely deep, and he said earnestly, Joes, you are also an old man on a pirate ship. You should have heard of Bullet. He's very strong. Then we're not bad. Together with us, isn't it Bullet's opponent? Joes responded directly without fear. You know Bullet's strength is very strong, but you don't know how strong he is. Margot said as if he was caught in a memory. You know what? Before Bullet made that riot, there was a big fight with Kaido on the unnamed island. Fight with Kaido, beasts, when, how come I don't know? Joes frowned. That's when Dad asked me to send a letter to Hong, and I was passing by a deserted island and saw it with my own eyes. The battle between the two was very terrifying. Neither of them used their fruit ability, but they fought directly with their terrifying bodies. They fought there for a day and a night. Where did I watch a day and a night? In the end, Bullet was still physically weak and lost to Kaido. Kaido took the opportunity to offer Bullet a solicitation, promising to give him a 3-disaster position as long as he joins the Beast's pirates. But Bullet refused outright, and then created that turmoil. You mean, Bullet's appearance is not the mastermind behind it, the real mastermind behind it is the Beast's pirates. He opened his mouth with hidden eyes and said quickly. I don't know, I think the real mastermind behind the scenes is the one who released Bullet. The defense of Impel Down is famous on the sea, and it is known as the Iron Wall. That person can release Bullet and let Marine not report it. I'm afraid even Kaido doesn't have the ability. That's why I said so much. Don't you know who is behind the scenes? Joe said bluntly. The corners of Margau's mouth twitched, and he nodded. I don't know. Margau said after a while. Advertisement. When I came, my father said that if you can grab this eternal pointer, you can grab it, and if you can't grab it, you can leave. Our safety is the most important. If there are only Katakuri and the others in this year's supernova, we will definitely compete with them. However, with a Bullet in this accident, I don't want to put you in danger. Moreover, the corners of Margau's mouth twitched, and he asked, who said that? We gave up the fight. Margot, what do you mean? Joes wondered, have you ever heard a word, Snipe and Clam compete for the fisherman's profit? ... Treasure Island now. The lush island was in a mess at this time, and Bullet showed his whole body exploding muscles, looking indifferently at Supernova and the others who were in a coma and lost their combat power. Naturally, Luffy Zoro is included. The battle on the top has not yet started. It was still 2 years ago. Luffy has not studied with Rayleigh, so his strength is not very strong. After a few moments, Bullet was like bullying a child, knocked unconscious and lost his combat power. This year's supernova, what a waste. I don't even have enough time to warm up. Bullet stepped on Aruja's head with a look of disdain. Humph, it's really boring. I thought there would be some decent people, but I didn't want to be just some little scumbags. Holding the Larutive Eternal Pointer in his hand, Bullet snorted coldly, feeling a little dissatisfied in his heart. Chapter 406. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. He has already thrown such a big net, and there are only these little gangsters participating in the competition. That's right, in his eyes, Luffy and others are just some little gangsters. I remember that the members of the four emperors are also here, why can't I see them? Bullet frowned, scanning his eyes back and forth, looking for the traces of the four emperors. Are you looking for me? Katakuri wrapped his arms around, standing proudly on the top of the mountain full of treasures, his eyes were as plain as water. Oh, it's finally here, the second in command of the BIGMOM pirates. Katakuri. Bullet narrowed his eyes with a hint of interest. Want this? Let me have fun if you want it, or I won't give it to you even if I destroy it. Bullet held the eternal pointer in the master's hand and smiled wickedly. Call out. Bullet's footsteps stepped hard, and the surrounding ground suddenly cracked, and the whole person used this momentum to shoot Katakuri directly like a sharp arrow. The energy of the black iron fist gathered together, and the violent energy made the surrounding air burst into bursts of thunder. Katakuri's right eye flashed red, and he whispered, is it belly? The waxy fruit ability activates. The fist wind is surging, turning into a tornado and sweeping around. Bullet's iron fist goes straight through Katakuri's belly. Bullet narrowed his eyes with a smile on his lips. Interesting. Isn't that a good thing? As expected of the second in command of the BIGMOM pirates. Armed eruptions, violent energy permeates, and the black giant fist suddenly slams into Bullet's head with monstrous force. Bullet didn't dodge or evade, and half of his face instantly turned into a metallic luster. When the metal crash sounded, with a gushing force, Bullet crossed an arc in midair and landed on the ground. The ground cracked and collapsed. Yu Wei did not diminish, like plowing the ground, with a strong force, making Bullet fly backwards behind him. Advertisement. Boom. There was a roar with the dust filling the distance in the distance. A long trail on the ground spreads far away. In the dust, Bullet emerges from the pothole. The entire tall body, apart from being a little embarrassed, has nothing else. He took a step forward, and his figure appeared at the feet of Katakuri like a teleportation. Nice strength. The head shook back and forth, making a screeching sound like fried beans. If you only have such strength, you are not my opponent. Katakuri didn't say a word, the whole person jumped into the air, and the black whip kicked down. The glutinous fruit is activated, and the pitch black whip legs grow long against the wind, instantly turning into a giant pillar. The wind was blowing, the air was torn apart, and the surrounding space was stagnant, becoming heavy. Good, as expected of the Emperor's vice-level person. Sure enough, those little guys can't compare. Bullet was not surprised but delighted, with a look of excitement, his palms raised, martial, surging force erupted from his palms. Boom. The ground collapsed under Bullet's feet and the storm suddenly erupted, carrying endless dust and turning into a monstrous haze, completely shrouding the two of them, and nothing inside could be seen. That's it. Not enough. Bullet looks crazy. Chi and blood surged, and the power of both palms erupted, pushing upwards, the black giant pillars across the sky and the earth, forcibly pushed up by Bullet, spinning in the air, and falling in the other direction. In midair, Katakuri's complexion remained unchanged, his mind moved, and his giant legs returned to their original state. The right hand stretched forward, and it began to stretch like a rubber. The sticky glutinous rice turned into a flexible rope, completely entangling Bullet. Taking this, Katakuri took the opportunity to appear in front of Bullet and said with a flat face, hand over Larudev's eternal pointer. You think you can knock me down with just these? Humph, you look down on me too much. Bullet snorted coldly. Advertisement. Suddenly, a huge force erupted from Bullet, and the glutinous rice rope tied to his body was instantly destroyed by him. At the same time, a violent coercion erupted from him. The wind and clouds changed, the ground was torn apart, and the endless storm rolled up layers of ripples, turned into a hurricane, and swept the entire island. Katakori's expression remained the same, as if he had been prepared for the moment when the Bullet Conqueror's haki erupted. A wave of haki no weaker than Bullet burst out from him. Dark clouds filled the air, the sky and the earth changed color, and there was even a trace of cracks on the ground. Trees swayed, gravel flew, the whole island was shaken by a storm, and the end came. At the very center, a face is indifferent, his eyes are like clear water, and his whole person is as thick as Mount Hai. A ferocious face, incomparably fierce, like a fierce beast that came out of the ancient prehistoric wilderness, fierce and monstrous. Crackle, crackle, the invisible collision caused countless meandering dark red lightnings in the center of the two. Domineering aura, such as thousands of troops fighting against each other, is like fire and water. Boom, the two domineering auras turned into two pillars that reached the sky, soaring into the sky, filling the sky with dark clouds, shattering them, revealing the hot sun inside. The two collided, and the phantom fruit used by Annie on the island below was clearly thrown into the sight of the surrounding audience. Seeing this fierce fight, the people who were watching stared wide-eyed, and they forgot to even call for refueling, so they could only watch in shock. For a time, the entire lively audience became silent. Oh, what is this? Is this devastating collision the legendary conquerors? Motorod roared, pulling the still shocked audience back to their senses. Wow, as more and more people in the audience came to their senses, all the pirates watching here exploded. This is Conqueror's collision. What a horrible conquerors. It can cover the entire island. Advertisement. This is the real battle. The previous battle was like beating up a child. It was unpleasant to watch. ... The audience on the field expressed their opinions. The edge of Treasure Island. The BIGMOM pirates, headed by Cracker, looked at the scene of shattering in the distance in shock. That person actually has the strength to rival Katakori's brother. Charlotte Praline, the 25th daughter of BIGMM, was shocked. Others don't know the strength of Katakori, and they, who are younger brothers and sisters, don't know. In the BGMOM pirates, Katakori is definitely second in strength except for her mother. How could they not be shocked that the man in the distance was able to fight Katakori back and forth? It's normal, after all, the strength is him. The person who once started the sea riot with his own power. The Biscuit Warrior said in a loud voice. Brother Cracker, you know him, Praline wondered. Very powerful, not ordinary, brother Katakori may not be his opponent. What, how is this possible? ... Some young children of BIGMOM, who were born late and had never heard of Bullet's name, cried out in shock one by one. Cracker is right, you were born late, you don't know how terrible he is. After Roger's death, the riot that shocked the sea really shocked not only me, but also my mother. Get ready, if Katakori loses, we will support Cracker at any time. BIGMOM's third son Owen said solemnly. Understood, Cracker nodded, _. Chapter 407. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. On the field, the world was turned upside down, red thunders meandering, one red and one blue, two powerful conquerors divided the entire treasure island into two. Nice conquerors, the Bullet commented with a fierce anger. However, the voice turned, and Bullet narrowed his eyes, just this conquerors is not enough. Boom, the huge waves and the volcanic eruption, the original stalemate, divided the two conquerors' haki equally, and fell with the words of Bullet. Around the Bullet, the conquerors began to roll violently, like a stormy sea, rolling away. Crackle, crackle, dark red thunder is intertwined, flashing. The center of the two began to move towards Katakori. After a while, conquerors filled the sky and suppressed Katakori's conquerors to a radius of only about 2 meters. Brother Katakori's conquerors is not a match for Bullet, Praline said in horror. Did it really fail? Owen murmured, as if he had hesitated a long time ago. The other people had different expressions, but they were all shocked in their hearts. On the field, Katakori, there was a trace of fluctuation in the plain watery eyes. Sure enough, Conqueror's competition is not his opponent. If so, he can only be defeated in battle. With a thought, Katakori's face froze, looking at Bullet not far away with a hint of war in his eyes. Call out. Suddenly, Kotaku trembled, his figure turned into a burst of afterimages, his body wriggled behind his back, and thick arms stretched out from it. 2 on the left and 2 on the right plus 2 on the body, there are 6 arms in total, like a spider. Advertisement. Armed eruptions, 6 thick arms shone with bright metallic luster. The fist wind surging, the air neighing, and each arm, with 1,000 strength, slammed towards the Bullet like a rubber. Bullet's face was indifferent, without a trace of fear, his arms surged, and his whole body turned into a black metal figure. Throw your fist and block Katakori's attack. Bang bang bang. The fierce battle began again, and the two fought frantically together again. Wherever he passed, the earth collapsed, the soil flew up, and the flowers, plants and trees were smashed into pieces. Like 2 humanoid tyrannosaurs, sweeping everything in front of them. The battle between the two looked fierce, but everyone could see that Bullet was at a disadvantage in this battle. Basically, Bullet was beaten passively, but everyone also found that every time Katakori's attack, Bullet did not dodge, did not evade, and insisted on resisting. People who know Bullet's strength are a little confused by Bullet's hand. What's the situation? Do you like being beaten? What other people think? Katakori can't help but his eyes are extremely discolored and dignified. From the beginning of the battle to the present, the two of them have never used their fruit ability except conquerors, and have been fighting against him with pure conqueror's haki and physical strength. Every time he bumps into him, he has the upper hand. But Katakori, for some reason, always has a trace of unease in his heart. Don't think about this uneasiness, it's also a former Bullet, and get rid of the distracting thoughts in your mind. Katakori was a little surprised, but Bullet, who had been attacking with his other 4 sticky rice arms for a long time, was still normal, as if nothing had happened. If he hadn't seen the scar on Bullet's face, he would have thought his attack was in vain. What a terrifying endurance ability. Katakori and Bullet distanced themselves, his eyes narrowed, and he secretly said in his heart. On the crisscrossed ground, Dusty, Katakori and Bullet stared at each other. Is this the level of a BIGMOM deputy? But that's it. After looking at each other, the corner of Bullet's mouth raised a trace of disdain. Advertisement. Dong dong dong. The earth trembled for a while, and the neat steps made the two of them unconsciously look in one direction. The densely packed biscuit warriors, holding weapons, like puppets, were neatly arranged and walked towards Katakori. Reinforcement. Bullet grinned. I know that person, Cracker, the Cracker, one of the 4 desert generals. Dong dong dong. Stepping neatly, Cracker appeared before Katakori with his cookie warrior. Cracker, you are. Katakuri is a little unhappy. He likes to be upright, and he likes to fight alone, unlike other younger brothers and sisters who like to fight others. Brother Katakuri, I know your temper, but you can't do it now. There are some powerful people here. We have to take him down quickly, or take the root of eternal pointer from him. Cracker the Earn Gas explained. Who? Katakuri frowned and asked subconsciously. Shichibukai, Empress Boa Hancock, Hokage. Of course, these two are not the most important. The point is, Marine is here. Cracker took a deep breath. Marine sent Admiral Kizaru, alternates Admiral Momosuke and Chigu, and Buster Call Middle 5 Vice Admiral. The following is already in a mess. We have to quickly solve the bullet or else. Cracker didn't say anything about the rest, but the result was obvious, otherwise it's likely to be scored by Kizaru and others in the past. 1 Admiral, 2 Alternate Admiral, and Buster Call 5 Vice Admiral. This facelift is more luxurious than them. Then make a quick fight. Before Marine comes here, end the fight, and then we'll go. Katakuri paid attention. Cracker responded. The leader of the Biscuit Warriors swung the knife, and the Biscuit Warriors behind them were densely packed, walking towards the bullet as steadfast as a phalanx. Humph, I want to use these rubbish iron. I look down on me too much. Bullet snorted coldly. The armed color erupted, like a galloping arrow, rushing towards the Biscuit crowd. Boom, boom, boom. Advertisement. The earth shook, the storm raged, the bullet was like an ancient beast, the fist was like a meteorite, and the Biscuit Warrior that was as hard as steel was smashed with one punch. 1, 2, and in the blink of an eye, the bullet is littered with cookie crumbs. The ferocity is monstrous, and the momentum is permeating, like a sea of blood coming out of Shira. Rumble boom. The black whip leg swept away, and the terrifying force erupted, and the Biscuit Warrior in front of him turned into a smash again. The sky suddenly became dark, and 2 giant fists that covered the sky fell heavily like a meteor. Bullet disappeared in a flash. Boom. A dull sound came, and the entire island was shaken violently. The ground in front of him was like paper, and was directly sunk into the ground by 2 giant fists that covered the sky. Not bad, not bad. This is the battle I expected. The whole body trembled, the adrenal glands secreted rapidly, and the eyes were full of madness. The blood filled the air, the murderous aura was savage, and the vicious aura rose to the sky, like the resurrection of the unparalleled Demon King, and the surrounding area of 100 meters was completely turned into a bloody ocean. The rich blood is disgusting. Not far away, Katakuri and Cracker frowned, and they could feel that Bullet's strength was still improving. Wow, the red light converges, his eyes are scarlet, and he is wearing a dark blue weapon. The violent, vicious aura radiates from Bullet's body. Congratulations, you were the first to see my full strength. His face was flat, with a faint smile on the corner of his mouth. This is the product of my fusion of Ghost and Haki. State, _ Chapter 408. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. You can also call it devil form. In this state, all the attributes of my whole body will be raised to another level. What? Katakuri didn't speak, but Cracker next to him was the first to speak out in shock. In that state just now, he and his second brother, Katakuri, had the upper hand when they joined forces. Now that their strength has risen to a higher level, even Cracker, one of the 4 desert generals, has a look of horror on his face at this time. Devil's descendant Bullet is so strong. It's not just strong, it's just too strong. He also heard about the riot in the sea that Bullet created for more than 10 years. At that time, he felt that Bullet was a powerful person, but his brain was a bit stupid and he looked like a rude man. After Bullet was captured by Marine, as more than 10 years passed, Cracker's impression of Bullet was somewhat vague, but it was certain that Bullet was definitely not so strong 10 years ago. In a place like Impel Down, if you don't stop practicing and improve yourself, Cracker can only use 2 words to describe it: terrifying. The violent aura erupted from Bullet, like the ocean of Wang Yang. It was bottomless, and the entire island was shrouded in it in an instant. The wind raged, the trees swayed, and the entire island fell into a precarious state that could be destroyed at any time. Call out. In the next instant, Bullet's entire body disappeared into place out of thin air. Katakuri's right eye flashed red, and he thought to himself, is it Cracker? But it's too late to warn me now. The figure appeared next to Cracker in a flash, and the two were not far apart, so Katakuri came first. The indifferent eyes are extremely sharp, the 6 paths giant fist is swung, and the whistling wind makes the surrounding air stagnate, and the surrounding space seems to be in a quagmire. Bang, bang, bang. The fierce collision sounded again, and invisible shocks emanated from the two of them, like rolling waves swept in all directions. Advertisement. This time, the battle between the two was twice as strong as before. Bullet in the devil state, the 2 iron fists were evenly matched with the 6 giant fists of Katakuri. The surrounding Biscuit Warriors have completely become a burden, or become cannon fodder on the battlefield. The terrifying power, violent power, and this devastating battle scene made Cracker hidden in the Biscuit Warrior stunned. This too strong. No, time is running out. Bullet must be subdued as soon as possible. Cracker's eyes narrowed. Click, click. The Biscuit Warrior on his body showed a slight crack, and finally shattered like a mere Madara. Cracker himself came out with a long sword, his face was serious, his palms padded, and the Biscuit Warriors who had been destroyed by the battle in the distance began to gather and form together. Finally a new cookie is formed. Rolls, pretzels. Cracker grinned grimly, and the Cookie Warriors kept spinning their swords. Buzz. The sword glow fills the air, the sword chants burst into waves, and sharp swords emerge from the top. The ground burst, sword chi overflowed, and spiral sword chi burst out from the Biscuit Warrior's long sword. Brother Katakuri, get out of the way, Cracker roared. The dense spiral sword energy blasted towards the bullet like a locust, looking like a sea of sword energy. Katakuri's sense of sight has the ability to predict the short-term future, so the moment Cracker just opened his mouth, the whole person left like lightning. Advertisement. The sword energy is vertical and horizontal, like a drizzle of cattle, falling on Bullet in an instant. Squeak, squeak. The sharp sword energy collided with Bullet, as if cutting steel, sparks flying everywhere, making bursts of harsh cutting sounds. Bullet's face was flat, standing proudly on the island, neither dodging nor evading, wrapping his arms around his chest, allowing the sword energy to cut through the sky. Squeak, squeak. For a time, Bullet's whole body was covered with sparks like a burning man. On the ground, sword energy overflowed, and before you knew it, the ground Bullet was standing on began to collapse. After a while, the sword chi disappeared, and Bullet's body returned to its original state. A pair of red eyes looked at Cracker not far away, and he smiled grimly. These sword chi are not good. It's not enough for me to tickle. Saying that, he patted his burly chest and walked towards Cracker step by step. How is that possible? Cracker couldn't believe it, looking at Bullet who didn't have a single scar on his body. Don't be surprised. This guy's 2 colors. No, Conqueror's Haki has been trained to the ultimate by him. Even I am not as good. Katakuri appeared beside Cracker and comforted. You are using an auxiliary long-range attack. I'm fighting with him in melee. I don't believe he has been able to withstand so many sword chi attacks. No matter how strong he is, he can't stand such a terrifying consumption. Katakuri analyzed calmly. Okay, brother Katakuri. Cracker nodded. Wait, suddenly, Katakuri's face wrinkled. He waved his hand to stop and turned his head to look in one direction. What's the matter, brother Katakuri? Cracker was a little puzzled. Looking along Katakuri's eyes, a figure appeared there, and beside him, there was a comatose person. It was Owen, the third son of Bigmom. Hawkeye, even he's here. Cracker's pupils narrowed. Advertisement. Katakuri turned his head again, and in the other direction, a figure stood proudly on the ground, and when the breeze blew, 3,000 blue silk swayed with the wind. Queen, Boa Hancock, Cracker said again. Katakuri raised his head, his wings were waving behind his back, the wind was blowing, and the little brother stood vertically high in the sky with his chest crossed, watching this scene with great interest. Margot, the bastard, we've been tricked by him. Brother Katakuri, Cracker gritted his teeth with a look of resentment. Oops, I'm so scared, it looks like we're not too late. At this moment, a loud monkey-like voice suddenly sounded, and from another direction, Kizaru and several vice admirals from Mama City appeared in the eyes of everyone. Marine, Cracker saw this, and uttered these two words indifferently. Looking at the crowd surrounding them and Bullet faintly, Cracker's eyes were cold with a hint of horror. Brother Katakuri, what should I do? Watch what happens, Katakuri said, and took Cracker out in another direction. Around the island, there were enemies in the sky, like a cage, surrounding the center Bullet. Bullet himself, his hideous face became solemn. The strength of these people is not comparable to those of the supernova just now. A Katakuri and Cracker will let him show most of his strength. Not to mention Marco, Shichibukai, and the top vice admiral led by Marine Admiral. Margot, you bastard, didn't you leave? At this time, after walking to the side, Cracker couldn't bear it any longer and cursed. Can't I come back after I left? Margot pouted in dissatisfaction. There are so many people, why are they only scolding me? Underscore. Chapter 409. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. FK, that's a good sentence. Going back and coming back, he was speechless for a while. Katakuri looked at all the power around him calmly, trying to find a way to grab the eternal pointer of Larutiv. But when first swept Marine, I sighed in my heart. With the ability of Kizaru, which is known for his speed, the chance of him regaining the eternal pointer is very small. Oh, Hawkeye, Boa Hancock, as Shichibukai, will you automatically help us Marine this time? Kizaru looked up, and his face shifted. Look at the fun, looking for someone, the two answered in succession. Well, it doesn't matter, as long as you're not looking for the eternal pointer, Kizaru groaned. Looking up at Margot, what? Do the Whitebeard pirates and the Bigmom pirates also want to intervene? Don't say that, Kizaru. Like Hawkeye, I'm here to watch the fun. Margot grinned and said, but, looking at your battle, I think it's a must for Larudev's eternal pointer. Several people were chatting and laughing, and on the ground, the supernova that Bullet had knocked out and the team members woke up from the coma one after another. The whole body was in great pain, and his face was weak. Looking at the standing figures around him, they all looked at each other and unconsciously moved closer together. You bastard, Luffy yelled, clutching his stomach, looking at Bullet. Luffy, be careful. Zoro turned pale and pulled Luffy. At this time, everyone knows that things are going to be big, and the big players such as Shichibukai, Marine, and the four emperors are coming. The battlefield is not for them to participate in. Don't look at their large group of people, but their combat power is definitely the weakest among these people. Can't see a bullet that can hang them. Bullet, I didn't expect you to be the mastermind behind this expo, Kizaru said with a serious face. Advertisement. Ha ha ha, Kizaru, first didn't expect Marine to send you here. It's not long since we parted. Yeah, it shouldn't be a month. Kizaru rubbed his chin and pondered. That's really fate, Bullet sneered. The conversation between the two directly ignored the awakening supernova around them, as if they were doing homework. Oh, for your captain's sake, we won't embarrass you. Hand over Larudev's eternal pointer and we'll go straight away, Kizaru said casually. I had a huge headache in my heart. I thought it was a good job, but who would have thought that the mastermind behind this was actually Bullet? He's not afraid of Bullet, but not Hanxing and Radfield. Hanxing didn't say, a man with the ability to overturn all their marines. Redfield was not weak either, and was able to keep pace with the Whitebeard pirates and the Roger pirates as a single person more than 10 years ago. At least he couldn't do it with his Kizaru's strength. These two people, even Marshal Sengoku, is not willing to provoke them now. He believes that after knowing that the mastermind behind the scenes is Bullet, he will make the same decision as him. Captain, don't worry. Today's organization was created by me privately. The captain has already let me do it. That is to say, the captain will not know everything here today. Bullet grins. I want the eternal pointer. Defeat, Bullet said, showing the eternal pointer in the palm of his hand and showing it to everyone. But the people around them couldn't think of the eternal pointer at all, and they all began to guess who the captain of Bullet was during the conversation between Bullet and Kizaru. Bullet's strength is already so strong, to put it badly, at least he has the strength of admiral level, then. Who can subdue such a rebellious character? Who are the other two emperors of New World? Just as everyone was thinking about it, a loud roar came from Bullet's mouth. The sound rippling, like sound waves, swept the entire treasure island. Forget it. Today I'll show you all my strengths. Today, only one person on this island can survive. It's me. Advertisement. The arrogant voice and the tyrannical tone made everyone not far away frown. A ripple emanated from Bullet, covering the entire island in the blink of an eye. Click, click. A violent suction erupted from Bullet, and around the island, marine battleships, pirate ships, all buildings and gravel all converged towards Bullet. At a speed visible to the naked eye, Bullet's body began to swell. In an instant, a giant with rolling dirt appeared in everyone's sight. In order to make you happy, I specifically skipped the fruit ability and directly used the awakening skill. Thank me for sending you to hell. In the urn, in the center of the giant, Bullet laughed horribly. The dark blue armed eruption, and the bottomless arm color like the sea begins to completely wrap the sky-shattering giant. Hey, what a terrible fellow. This giant doesn't have to be as small as their captain's giant. Kizaru whispered, but there was no fear in his eyes. What is this? It's so big, it looks so strong. Luffy, who returned to his serious nature, spoke cautiously. Zoro, Usopp, and everyone else, we must run if he does it later. That giant is awesome. Idiot, what are you talking about? Damn it, who would have thought that there would be such a terrifying figure behind the expo? Kid said with an ugly face and an unhappy mood. So big, and this terrifying coercion, tisk tisk, as expected of the descendants of the devil. High in the sky, Margau's figure flew up again and muttered softly. Brother Katakuri swallowed hard, his face ashen. You go and bring your younger brother and sister back to the pirate ship first, or stay away from such a place. I'm afraid you will not be able to participate in the battle later. Katakuri said solemnly. Advertisement. Got it, brother Katakuri, I'm going right now, Cracker said, the manipulator biscuit soldier, walking towards a direction. Want to go? Did I promise? Just use your corpse to test the power of my fists. High in the sky, a rebellious voice came, accompanied by the blue giant fist that covers the sky. Like a meteorite falling, the space below is as oppressive as mercury, extremely heavy. When the earth collapsed, and the invisible impact swept all around like a plow. The storm is raging, and the sharp storm turns into small wind blades, cutting everything and cutting the organic matter of the entire island. On the field, Katakuri stood proudly beside Cracker with a serious face, and the huge black iron fist and Bullet's iron fist bombarded together. That's right, this is the level of the Emperor's deputy. The arrogant voice of Bullet resounded all around. Sing, loud birdsong sounded from the sky, cyan flames lingered, huge cyan claws, with endless sharpness, slammed into the shoulders of the dark blue giant. Blue flames filled the air, and a gap appeared on the arm of the Gundam giant. Margao turned into a human figure, with a hint of solemnity in his eyes. It's really strong enough. Whoosh, a light is coming from far away. Margao narrowed his eyes and quickly dodged. Chapter 410. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. A dazzling crescent moon flew from a distance, and the sharp sword energy caused ripples in the void. The target was the gap in the giant's arm that Margao had just attacked. The sword glow is dazzling, and the sword energy is filled. White light flashes. A crack appeared in the arm like an Optimus Prime, and then divided into two and fell from the sky. Boom, a loud roar sounded, accompanied by the violent shaking of the entire island. Not far away, Hawkeye put away Hidoi, kept silent, turned and walked outside. Behind Kizaru, Momosuke frowned slightly and pondered, really, although a large amount of weapons can be covered, compared to individual weapons, they are still sparse. And, being taller and bigger means that the attack is strong, and the corresponding speed, reaction and other aspects have become weaker, and it has become a living target. Compared with Hanxing, the kilometer giant, the two are not at the same level. Indeed, the giant Hanxing not only has both offense and defense, but also has an extremely fast reaction speed, and this bullet. Weasel said, shaking slightly, it was incomparable. Well, don't talk about it for now. Get rid of the giant in front of you first, and get the Lalutive Eternal Pointer. Kizaru ordered. Got it, X7. As long as I have me, you are immune to death. The blue light filled the air, and Bullet laughed wildly from the sky-covering giant. The giant feet lifted up, and the pitch-black shadow shrouded a radius of 100 meters, stomping on the Katakuri below like a meteorite. Katakuri's complexion remained unchanged, his arms rapidly expanded, turning into two giant totem pillars, not afraid to meet the monstrous shadows in the sky. Advertisement. Boom, there was a roar, the sky was shaking, and a storm broke out from the center of the two and swept the surrounding. Feeling the resistance from above and below, Bullet's expression remained unchanged, and he said wildly, you think you want to stop me with your personal strength? You are beyond your own power. When the words fell, the giant force erupted, and Katakuri's right eye flashed with red light. Without any hesitation, the figure quickly flashed, and the speed was fast, like a teleportation, and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Boom, the ground collapsed, and the shadow of the sky-covering leg stepped on the ground, leaving a deep footprint on the ground. At the same time, where the sky-covering giant's broken arm was filled with dark blue rays of light, a trace of blue lines visible to the right eye fell downward and wrapped around his arm, as if he wanted to recover. Chant, sword chants burst forth, and the dazzling purple crescent sword energy emerged out of nowhere, cutting off those blue lines. I'm sorry, I can't let you recover. Momosuke held Jinpyra and smiled flatly, with a valiant appearance. Damn it, Bullet cursed at the center of the giant. Oh, Marine also shot. I didn't expect that there would be a day to join forces with Marine. High in the sky, Marco Nuyu smiled. Humph, Doberman snorted coldly. Hey hey hey, Kizaru Admiral, do those mice want us to capture them? T-Dolphin pointed at Luffy and the others who were fleeing frantically not far away. Those guys are seriously injured. The Island Joe warship and the pirate ship were absorbed and integrated by the Bullet, and they were controlled by our Marine, they can't escape. Clean up the Bullet first. It hurts. Such a big mess, Kizaru said strangely, with a bit of resentment in his words. On the field, Bullet, the giant with the broken arm, had his head above the sky and the earth, and his eyes were like light bulbs, scanning the crowd back and forth. Whoosh, advertisement. Armed eruption, flexible arms like springs, turned into snakes, winding Bullet's huge leg. It seems that there is a consonance in the heart. When Katakuri wrapped around the blue giant leg, the blue flames of Margao's whole body filled the air, and rushed towards the giant leg like a shooting star. Sing, the loud birdsong sounded again, the blue flames gathered together, and a sharp claws ripped apart the air, appearing out of thin air. Blue flames filled the air, like an arm, a gap appeared out of thin air again. Momosuke is no nonsense, and the Kimpira is waving again in his hand. The sword light flashed, and the sword energy overflowed, and the giant legs that covered the sky were directly divided into two. The three-person cooperation is seamless, like old friends for many years. Boom, without the support of one leg, the blue giant fell directly to the ground. Good chance, everyone is a battle-hardened, experienced master, without a single hesitation, the T-Dolphin, Momosuke, Weasel, Katakuri, and Margao all shot, roaring at the belly of the giant indiscriminately. Blue flames lingered, and Margao's thoughts moved, and a giant blue bird burned with blue flames, like a phoenix reborn from ashes, and rushed towards bar below. Katakuri was not to be outdone, glutinous rice surging behind him, 6 thick arms made of glutinous rice, with a bright metallic luster, turned into giant pillars from the sky, and fell with a bang. Marine's side is very simple, with Momosuke as the head, one after another sharp sword energy erupted from their hands, and finally fell on Bullet like a rain of swords. Boom, the violent attack is like a volcanic eruption, the ground is torn apart, and the invisible storm curls the endless dirt and dust, sweeping in all directions like a wave. The belly of the dark blue giant, after just indiscriminate bombardment, has already been riddled with holes. Click, click, advertisement. In the end, it exploded, the giant dissipated, a bottomless pit quietly emerged, and Bullet fell into it. Pat, pat, with a gloomy face, Bullet walked out from the inside, his chest heaving a little, and there was a trace of blood on the corner of his mouth. Obviously, Momosuke and others just attacked, and even he himself was injured. He, it's really possible. The two vice-chairmen of the 4 emperors actually teamed up with Marine to deal with me. My face is really big, Bullet sneered. Well, there's no way. Who made you so stubborn? Wouldn't it be better to hand over the Lalutive record pointer earlier? You have to force us to join forces. Margao shrugged his shoulders. If you want it, beat me first. Bullet loosened his fist and showed them the eternal pointer, without the slightest chance of compromise. Talk down. The red aura permeated the whole body, the skin turned abnormal blood red, armed eruptions, a pair of red blood eyes scanned the crowd back and forth, and the devil form instantly opened. The small blue giant's body was filled with violent aura, continuous like seawater, making the surrounding air heavier. Two figures quietly disappeared from behind Kizaru. One is tall and has a lifelike spider temperature rise on his thigh, and the other is thin and slender with a face wound like Kizaru Madara. These two are Momosuke and Shadow. At the moment when the two of them moved, Buster Call 5 Vice Admiral, headed by the Weasel, moved, and the 6 style shade was activated, appearing in front of Katakuri. In midair, golden light filled the air, and countless golden particles converged. Kizaru appeared in front of Margao with a wretched face. I think we should still watch the play here. What do you think? Yes, I don't care. Anyway, Dad means that it is best to get the eternal pointer, and it doesn't matter if you can't get it. Margao said indifferently. Below, Katakuri is not so good at talking. He frowned and said solemnly, what? Marine wants to swallow it alone. Underscore. Chapter 411. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. You think too much. When did we Marine say we would share the eternal pointer with you? Weasel said calmly. You have to remember, you are pirates, we are Marines. The two are inherently opposites. Doberman followed. So, are you planning to stop me? Katakuri regained his indifference and said coldly. Humph, Larudev's eternal pointer is of great significance, and we Marine will never allow another One Piece to appear in the pirates. If you just wait here obediently and wait for the end of the battle. No, we don't mind taking you back to Impel Down. I want to take back the second in command of the BIGMOM pirates, and Marshal Sengoku was very happy. The hawkish ghost spider was not so good at speaking, and said in a tough tone. Katakuri's eyes froze. As the second in command of the BIGMOM pirates, when was he preached like this? Does he really take him as an ordinary pirate? That's amazing. How dare you talk to brother Katakuri like that? Why do you want to fight? Good, we'll accompany you. Cracker rushed over with some injured members of the BIGMOM pirates. Why are you here? When we saw the giant disappear, we thought the battle was over. So we brought them here. Who would have seen the confrontation between you as soon as we came in? Owen said with a pale face. Yo-yo, Kizaru, it seems that you Marines don't have the upper hand. Marco stood in the sky and moved his way. Well, let's take a look at it first, Kizaru said calmly. With the addition of Owen and the others, the weasel and the others did not look as confident as before, and just like Katakuri, their faces became serious. Dong dong dong, the ground shook, and the biscuit warriors appeared around the weasel and others, vaguely surrounding them. Cracker held a long sword and appeared beside Katakuri with a smile on his face. What, are you going to fight? Weasel said solemnly. Didn't you guys want to go to war? Cracker said with a smile. The movement here cannot stop the battle on the distant battlefield. Advertisement. Distant battles can be described as very intense. Momosuke and Chado are both backup admiral, and their strength can be ranked first and second in vice admiral. Momosuke held Jin Pailuo, swung out a sword, sword energy overflowed, crescent sword energy, rushing towards Bullet T Dolphin more easily, cigarette at the corner of his mouth, a slap with both hands, the ground swelled, one after another sharp earth spear, spinning rapidly, with armament hockey, it is not as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. As geniuses in the same marine training, the two have known each other for a long time, and their cooperation can be said to be very tacit. Bullet is possessed by ghosts, his whole body is full of breath, his fists are swung quickly, terrifying energy is rippling, and the energy of destroying the sky and the earth erupts from his fists. Boom, boom, circles of invisible ripples are centered on Bullet, like rolling waves rushing into the distance. Bang bang bang, the slashes, earth spears, etc. that slammed towards Bullet spread with the ripples in this circle, and they exploded before reaching Bullet's side. Bullet grinned grimly, does the Logia fruit have power? It's a little troublesome, let's deal with that girl first. Boom, when the figure moved, the earth roared, and Bullet disappeared in place like a humanoid Tyrannosaurus. Oh, fight Momosuke. Gee, T-Dolphin has a strange look in his eyes, this guy is not good at looking for anyone, he has to look for her, don't you know that Momosuke is the strongest person in our class? On the other hand, Momosuke did not have any fear in his eyes, holding Jinpyra and facing difficulties. The two collided instantly, dang dang, the sound of metal collisions is endless. Jinpyra's sword light flashes, and the sword is like a rainbow. Bullet fists are like meteorites, as heavy as 1,000 pounds. The two collided with the earth like a volcano, and the tip of the needle was on the maiming. Advertisement. Fist marks, sword marks, and traces appeared on the ground around the two. Momosuke is a woman after all, and is naturally weaker than men. Although Jinpyra successfully resists every collision, she will slide backwards far behind the shock of the bullet's powerful force every time, and her sleeves will go numb. Bullet wasn't feeling well either, there were tiny scars all over his body, if it weren't for the ultimate armament hockey, he would have been cut in half by Momosuke's sword energy. I didn't expect it, your little girl's sword chi level is stronger than that of the faraway one named Cracker, your kendo level can be ranked first among women. Bullet said with a serious face. Thank you for the compliment, Momosuke said with a solemn expression, holding Jinpyra with trembling hands. However, you should be on your way to ultimate. With your physique, you shouldn't be able to endure such a high-intensity battle. Bullet grinned grimly. Yeah, it's almost unbearable, Momosuke admitted frankly, and the corner of his mouth twitched. You won't forget, I'm not alone. After the words fell, the T-Dolphin appeared in the air, his fists danced, and he blasted towards the bullet below. At the moment of falling, the mud on the arm was surrounded, and it instantly turned into a huge mud arm. Armed eruptions, huge arms, tearing the air, like falling meteorites, heavy constant pressure down. Humph, Bullet snorted coldly, his blood surged, and he raised his fist to greet him, not afraid at all. Boom, the ground collapsed, and the invisible impact rolled up endless dust like a hurricane, sweeping in all directions. For a while, it was dark around the two of them. Kang, sword chants burst forth, a shadowy figure rushed in from the outside, white light flashed, and the sword light flickered. Bullet was about to throw another punch. At this time, a burst of pressure came from the top of the head, looking up, the other hand of the T-Dolphin gathered, and the fist like a giant pillar hit the sky again. As a last resort, Bullet's outstretched fist resisted the giant T-Dolphin mud fist. Advertisement. Puff, the sharp Jinpyra directly sank into Bullet's chest, and the hot blood dripped down the tip of Jinpyra's sword. In the blink of an eye, the ground was dyed red. At the same time, the T-Dolphin in the sky sees this, and his body is full of chi and blood. A giant force suddenly erupts. Bullet, who was already injured, was bent down by the sudden increase in the force. Puff, blood splattered everywhere, Momosuke pulled out Kimpira, and disappeared in place with a single movement. Bullet's body trembled for a while, and taking this opportunity, the T-Dolphin banged vigorously again. Two giant arms descended from the sky, smashing the ground out of two deep potholes. Inside the pothole, Bullet covered his chest with a ferocious expression, damn it guy. The dazzling slash appeared, and the sharp sword light ripped apart the void. Just as Bullet was about to dodge, the ground was surging, and two earth snakes swallowed snake letters like two ropes that tightly wrapped Bullet's legs. Poochie sparks splashed, with blood flowing, the sharp slash directly cut into the Bullet's abdomen. The long sword mark spread across the entire abdomen, if it wasn't for Bullet's armed body protection, it would have been cut off by this slash. As these two attacks surfaced, Bullet's face turned pale, his strong body became weak, and his devil state quietly disappeared into an ordinary person. In the sky, Kizaru let out a lazily sigh, it's over. Chapter 412. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Yes, this time you won, Margao said angrily. After speaking, the whole person was surrounded by blue flames, turned into a blue phoenix, and flew into the distance. Bullet is defeated. Marine has an absolute advantage. Katakuri is definitely not Marine's opponent, not to mention that with a wretched guy like Kizaru, he can't get the eternal pointer. If you can't get it, why are you staying here? Yeah, not long after he flew, Margao was stunned, feeling the vague pressure of the three around him. His expression became serious, because each of these three paths was above him. Oh, it seems to have been discovered. A faint voice sounded around, and three figures appeared in front of Margao. Red, Count Red, you actually appeared. Marco looked shocked. As the first batch of people to join the Whitebeard pirates, of course, I have heard of the Red Earl, and even seen the battle between the father and the Red Earl. The scene of the shattering of heaven and earth is unforgettable to this day. Oh, you know me, you were the kid who followed Whitebeard back then. What a big change. Redfield was stunned for a moment, then sighed. How did you come out? Didn't you get killed by Marine? No, it was only 6 stories down by Impel, and now the captain has come out. Redfield explained that even though he was a junior, he rarely saw the previous characters. Captain, Marco frowned. Only then did I take a closer look at the standing postures of the three of them, and found that Hanxing was standing in front. This person who has been in the limelight recently. Advertisement. In his mind, a bold idea popped up, pointed at Hanxing, and said in shock, you. The captain you're talking about isn't Hanxing. Yes, exactly what you think. Radfield nodded. Margao swallowed his saliva. His scalp was numb. Hanxing actually formed a pirate group, or even the Red Earl joined his pirate group. This simply made a huge wave in his heart. Needless to say, Hanxing's strength is strong. The old Red Earl is a strong man, and the blind man over there is stronger than him in terms of breath. If this pirate group announces its members, it will definitely set off huge waves on the sea. With the addition of Earl Red, Hanxing's pirate group is at least 4 emperors level combat power on the sea, and I am afraid that it will not be long before the 5th emperor will appear on the sea. Thinking of this, Marco felt anxious and wanted to return to Whitebeard immediately and tell his father. Then what are you doing here? Margao said bravely. He wanted to inquire about the secret of Hanxing's coming here and learn more about the Hanxing pirates. Well, it's not that idiot of Bullet, who has to make such a big incident by himself, and in the end, I will be the captain to end it. Hanxing was annoyed. Bullet, also your crew, Margao asked. Yeah, I'll go to other sea areas to recruit a new member, and this guy will create such a big storm in the sea. You guys are busy. I won't bother you if you are busy, Margot said, turning into a dark blue phoenix and quickly disappearing into the sky. Is it really good to just tell him the information about our members? He smiled and pondered. Don't worry, after this battle, our pirate group will face the sea. Even if we don't say it, the Underground Intelligence Organization will report it. Hanxing waved his hand indifferently. After a pause, let's go and finish this guy Bullet. Really, I guess after being beaten by the sea this time, I hope he can live in peace. Advertisement. With that said, the 3 of them turned into the streamers of the 3rd generation and fell towards the bottom of the treasure island. At this time, on the battlefield, Kizaru appeared in front of Katakuri and the others. His expression shifted, and he held Laludev's eternal pointer in his palm. Here. The pointer is here. You have figured it out. If you do it, you can. It means war on our marine. As for Bullet, he passed out due to excessive blood loss. Humph, it's really like our BIGMOM pirates filmed you marine. Cracker snorted coldly. Are you sure? Kizaru said with a smile. His eyes kept looking at Katakuri in front of him. Just after he finished speaking, his expression changed, and he turned to look at the 3 people who were slowly falling in the air, and said solemnly, really. It really attracted them. Yo, Kizaru, we meet again. Hanxing and Kizaru said hello and walked to Bullet's side. Chakra surged, green light filled the air, and the sky above Bullet began to stop bleeding quickly, and it started to recover at a speed visible to the naked eye, and it recovered as before in the blink of an eye. Healing ability. Another new ability. What a horrible person, Kizaru murmured. It looks like the eternal pointer is in your hands, Hanxing said, turning his head to look at Kizaru. If you want, give it to you directly, Kizaru said without hesitation. Behind them, Momosuke and the others were silent, but they knew Hanxing's strength. If Hanxing was accidentally irritated, they might stay here forever. No, I'm not interested in that. These are all made by this guy Bullet on his own initiative. Hanxing shook his head. Since Larudev's record pointer is in your hands, let this farce end here. I'll take the Bullet. No problem. Advertisement. As the 2 of them spoke, the end of the war was finalized, and the people of the Bicom pirates who were beside them were directly forgotten. You're Hanxing. I know you. You're the one who killed Baron Egg, Cracker said a little unhappily, looking for his presence. Hanxing turned his head and looked indifferently at Cracker and the others. If there was an aura of Ruaoqiang bursting out of him, it was like a big Poseidon yawn, and it was like a mountain topping down, making the surrounding air extremely sticky. What? Kizaru dare not bully. Come to trouble me, are you sure? Kizaru pouted and didn't speak, gave Momosuke and the others a look, and quietly walked to a distance to watch. To them, Hanxing or Katakuri were all pirates, a group of dogs eating dogs. Boom. A monstrous roar sounded, and Hancock appeared in front of Hanxing with a gloomy face. What? The concubine's future husband Kun is also something you can bully. Boa Hancock, when did Hanxing become your husband Kun? How come there is no information from the sea? Do you mean to protect him? Cracker was puzzled at first, then looked disdainful. For them, Shichibukai's strength is just that, except for the eagle eyes that can enter their eyes, the others are not worth mentioning. Yo, Captain, I can't see it. It's been a few days since I haven't seen it, and I actually got the most beautiful woman in the sea, the Pirate Queen. Redfield joked. You think too much. I'm only one side away from him. Hanxing shook his head. What's wrong with one side away? Haven't you heard of love at first sight? Hancock pouted, dissatisfied. Cracker, let's go. Katakuri's serious eyes swept over Hanxing and the others, and said solemnly. Chapter 413. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Brother Katakuri, Cracker wondered. Go. Katakuri's voice increased again. Got it. Cracker gave Hanxing a fierce look, his face full of unwillingness. Wait, did I let you go? Hanxing turned his head and said in a flat tone. Silently, Leatherfield appeared in front of Cracker with an umbrella. Clang. With a smile, he held a bamboo sword, revealing a fierce cold light inside. Katakuri and the others stepped forward for a while. Taking a deep look at Redfield, he turned around and said coldly, you know, is this going to start a war with our BIGMOM pirates? BGMOM pirates. That's okay. If you say war, let's go to war. Just leave you guys behind. Hanxing sneered disdainfully. Okay, let me see how powerful you are as a pirate with a reward of 1.5 billion. Is it really as powerful as the rumors in the sea? Cracker, who was unwilling, smiled wickedly at the corner of his mouth. Shut up, Cracker. Katakuri interrupted Cracker and said solemnly. What on earth do you want? Apologize. I apologize. I'll let you go. Hanxing smiled indifferently. Advertisement. What did you say? Let's apologize. Cracker's face changed, his figure flashed, and he instantly appeared in front of Hanxing, with a sharp long sword and a cold light flashing, facing Hanxing suddenly. When a dull metal crash sounded, Hanxing's expression didn't change. Next to him, holding a bamboo sword with a smile, he easily resisted Cracker's attack. He said in a cold tone, "Hey, you guys did it first. Don't blame me." Katakuri stopped the brothers and sisters behind him and said with a serious expression, "We apologize. This time it was our fault. I'm sorry." Katakuri said, his body was bent 90 degrees to Hanxing. The younger siblings behind him were full of shock, and his face flushed red at the same time, full of unwillingness and anger. "Okay, I'll let you go this time. Go back and tell BIGMOM that in a few days we will go to Cake Island in person, and the location of the 4 emperors should be made." Hanxing gave Katakuri a deep look. Wave. Beside him, he stood up with a smile, while Learfield silently appeared in front of Hanxing. Brother Katakuri. Cracker looked at the scene not far away, a little unwilling. The same is true for other younger brothers and sisters. In their eyes, Brother Katakuri is invincible and forever invincible. Today. "Let's go," everyone in Katakuri said solemnly. After speaking, he took everyone away safely. The indifferent voice came from a distance, "And I will tell my mother about the matter. It will not be like this next time we meet." "Next time, hee." Hanxing grinned. "Bring the bullets. Let's go. It's time for this farce to end." "Okay." A smile carried Bullet and walked beside Hanxing. Advertisement. F-kun, you don't have a boat yet. Go to the concubine, Boa Hancock said immediately. "No need, we have our own boat." Hanxing shook his head and refused, and now there are a series of things waiting for him, but he is not interested in flirting with Boa Hancock. Besides, Terry Yoruichi personally, isn't she fragrant? When the words fell, Hanxing took a few people and rose into the sky, disappearing into the sky in the blink of an eye. "Damn it, guy." The concubine would not give up. Boa Hancock pouted, stomped the ground fiercely, and disappeared in place in a flash. "Yo, let's go now. What a pity. I wanted to see how they fought," Kazaru said in disappointment, looking at the island that suddenly became silent. "Kazaru Admiral, although they haven't made a deal, isn't Leonzi already tied? Sooner or later, it will be a matter of time." Momosugi laughed, as beautiful and moving as a peony flower. "That's true. Larudev's eternal hand has also arrived. Let's go." Kazaru nodded in agreement with the eternal hand. With the departure of Kazaru and others, the originally turbulent Treasure Island became silent. On the sea, the BIGMOM pirates, on the deck, everyone headed by Katakuri was silent and looked depressed. "Brother Katakuri, I don't understand. What do you want to apologize for? We can't beat Kazaru, but we can't beat Hanxing them, can we?" Cracker asked the doubts in his heart, and there was a trace in his words, dissatisfied. Although the other brothers and sisters didn't say anything, they still looked the same as Cracker. They are one of the 4 emperors in the ocean, the BIGMOM pirates. When do they need to apologize and ask for forgiveness? If they really can't do it, they will fight. Who are they afraid of? If they can't let their mother play, why? Isn't even the mother an opponent? For a time, thinking of this, they not only resented but also felt very embarrassed. If today's incident were to be spread out, the biggest joke of their BIGMOM pirates in the New World and even the entire sea would have their reputation plummeted. "We don't apologize today. Everyone will surely die, including me. Also, even if my mother comes here in person, it will also be defeated. As for the reason, let the 4th brother tell you," Katakuri said, walking towards the cabin. "Go. There are a lot of things that happen today. He has to make it clear and explain it to his mother when he goes back. No matter what, the mission failed." Advertisement. After Katakuri left, everyone turned their attention to Owen. Their eyes were full of thirst for knowledge, hoping that Owen could answer them. Looking at the eyes of his younger siblings, Owen frowned and sighed. Katakuri is right. If he didn't bow his head and apologize, we would all stay here. One more sentence is also true. Even if the mother comes in person, the consequences will be the same. How is that possible? Brother Owen, you are lying, right? Cracker couldn't bear it, and took the lead. Owen glanced at the crowd and said solemnly, "You should see the man with a paper umbrella and a red cloak." "No, is that guy awesome?" Praline exclaimed. "It's more than amazing." Owen sighed, his eyes seemed to sink into memory. "His name is Redfield. He is called the Red Earl, the Solitary Red. He is a character from the same period as Whitebeard and Roger." "Lonely Red, is it him? Isn't he already dead?" Cracker was stunned for a moment, then his face changed greatly, and his eyes were full of disbelief. "Brother Cracker, you know him?" Praline asked again. Cracker didn't answer, and looked at Owen with a pair of eyes, like a demon. "Brother Owen, are you sure you were the Red Earl?" "That's right, sure. When he fought the Roger pirates, I glanced at it from a distance." Owen nodded with certainty. It's him. If he were, it wouldn't be a bad thing to apologize." Cracker murmured, his whole figure like a leaking ball. "Brother Owen, Brother Cracker, make it clear, don't confuse us." The 18th daughter of the Charlotte family, Garrett, was dissatisfied, and her mind was even more confused and itchy. Chapter 414. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Red Earl, aka Redfield, lonely like Hawkeye today. But, his strength and fame are many times greater than the current Hawkeye. In a word, the Red Earl alone can compare to the Roger pirates and the Whitebeard pirates. Owen said slowly, adding Redfield's deeds are described in detail. "Brother Owen, you are kidding me. How can one person keep pace with the Whitebeard pirates and Roger pirates from more than 10 years ago?" The others weren't much better either, and what Owen said today made them a little unbelievable. "Brother Owen, you said that even if his mother came, he would not be his opponent. Is this true?" Praline said cautiously, with hope in her eyes. The others turned to look at Owen, with hope in their eyes. "I don't know now, but more than 10 years ago, Whitebeard and the Red Earl fought one-on-one and lost by one move. Everyone knows what Owen said. 10 years ago, Redfield was definitely number 1 in the ocean. 10 years later, the result is unknown, but even if his strength regresses, he will not regress much, and at most is tied with Whitebeard. Whitebeard is called the strongest in the world. Even if it is a draw, his strength is definitely not weaker than his mother." As soon as this idea appeared, everyone became silent. Obviously, the appearance of the Red Earl hit them hard. "Hey, don't think about it so much. The Red Earl and Hanxing formed a pirate group, and they already have the qualifications to attack the 5 emperors in the sea. It's even possible that Hanxing's target will be our pirate group first. Of course, it may be others," Owen said, glanced at Cracker next to him, and walked towards the cabin. "Things have been done. It's too late to think about what to say. Now the best way is to tell my mother and actively prepare for the battle." Advertisement. The expo ended with Marine getting the Larude Eternal Pointer. 3 days later, as the matter fermented, what happened in the World Expo began to be reported by Morgans through his subordinate news agency. The original Rough Sea was ignited again, and it was very lively. The first is the supernova of Bullet, and the second is the battle of Katakuri and Margao, the 2 4 emperors vice presidents. In the end, the information about the battle with Marine Bullet was defeated, and he became the hottest pirate in the ocean, surpassing Hanxing. In particular, he was once a member of the Roger pirate ship, which is even more interesting. Secondly, Marine was eager to catch pirates at the World Expo. It is said that the pirate ships that went there were full of harvests, and even this supernova Cavendish was accidentally caught by Marine. The owner of the expo, Buena Festa, was also arrested by Marine, but the master behind the scene, Bullet, was rescued by a mysterious person and disappeared. After Bullet was rescued, everyone in the ocean breathed a sigh of relief. After all, the strength of Bullet can be seen from the newspapers. If such a big pirate is caught in the sea, it will be a big loss for the pirates. 4 emperors, Whitebeard pirates, Margao and the team leaders behind him stood in front of Whitebeard, reporting with a serious look, "That's what happened to Dad." Goo la la la, Whitebeard laughed and took a sip of wine in his mouth. "I thought the old thing was dead. I didn't expect it to appear in the sea again." He even joined Hanxing's pirate group. "Really, the older I get, the more I go back." "That's good. There is another old friend alive, and your father won't feel lonely anymore." Whitebeard's eyes flashed a flash of reminiscence, and then he shouted, "For the Red Earl to be alive, little ones, hold a banquet." Advertisement. Margot is a little helpless. "Dad, isn't this the point? What I want to talk about is the Hanxing pirates." The Red Earl and Bullet joined the Hanxing pirates. "Oh, forget it. Father is happy. Let's postpone this matter. It is not in a hurry anyway." Margot sighed. 4 emperors red hair pirates. Red Force. Ben Beckman handed a newspaper to the redhead. "Look, your old friend shows up." Oh, the redhead's eyes lit up and he took the newspaper. His original surprise expression solidified and became extremely serious. Bullet. He actually appeared. He sent the expo. I'll just say it. Larudev's eternal pointer was thrown into the sea by the captain. How could anyone get it? If it was him, it wouldn't be enough amazing. You don't have to look like this. I read the newspapers too, but Bullet is very powerful. But you're not what you used to be. Don't be so serious. I really want to say, his strength is not as strong as you. Ben Beckman spat out a smoke ring said flatly. With that said, he swept away the surrounding red hair pirates members. Don't forget that you are not the same you used to be. You are Captain Red Hair Pirates. Now one of the 4 emperors on the sea. That's it, Captain. Don't be so serious. Be happy. This look doesn't look like you. Lakealu said with a smile while eating barbecue. That's it. That's it. If he really dares to come to trouble you, we'll help you deal with him. Usopp followed. Everyone. The redhead's serious expression changed, and the corner of his mouth showed a radiant, "Okay. To celebrate the reappearance of our old friends at the sea, we are having a banquet. It is good. 4 emperors BIGMOM pirates." Advertisement. In the dark castle, the cold wind is blowing, and Katakuri tells the story of this incident. Behind him are a group of trembling children. "Mom, that's the way it is. We're going to make plans." Well, Red Earl, Bullet, Hanxing, the 3 of them actually formed a pirate group. "It's really possible. It's possible." The cold voice screamed like a demon, making the scalps of the people not far away numb. Evil Eyes swept the crowd below, and said hoarsely, "This time, if you have a reason for this, I will punish you for 1 year of life as a punishment." Charlotte Linlin said, with a big wave of her hand, a trace of green breath flew out from the bodies of these people and entered BIGMOM's body. There is only one person who does not, and that is Katakuri, Kaji. Charlotte Linlin's soul fruit. Only people who fear him can extract lifespan, otherwise it has no effect at all. Carter's body did not fly out of life, which means he is not afraid of Charlotte Linlin. And Charlotte Linlin doesn't care. The importance of Katakuri is not comparable to the others below. Well, the punishment is over. You guys can go. Charlotte Linlin waved. The others walked outside in cold sweat, and for a while, only Charlotte Linlin was left in the dark room. Red Earl, Bullet and Hanxing, you wait for my mother. If you really dare to attack my mother will definitely let you know what the anger from the 4 emperors is. Chapter 415. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Beasts Pirates, Ghost Island. A mummified Kaido sits on his own unique throne, next to his 2 other men, Queen, and Kung Jin. Boss, this is the latest information. The mastermind behind the expo is a former member of One Piece. Devil Descendants Bullet. During the period, the BIGMOM pirates and the Whitebeard pirates also sent people to participate. However, in the end, Marine won and got the eternal pointer of Larudev. King said with a serious look. These are not important. When Lousy recovers from the injury, he will never let Hanxing go. Kaido waved his hand indifferently, his words extremely weak. Got it, Boss Kaido, I'll take care of these. You can rest in peace, Jin said in a deep voice. But this time, thanks to you for arriving in time, otherwise Lousy might have been planted there, and I also want to thank Kizaru, who didn't look at my corpse carefully and left. Otherwise, this time it was really fierce Duoji Shao, Kaido said flatly, but his tone was extremely cold. It will take some time for my body to fully recover, but the scars on my body may be forever. Boss, next time you want to trouble Hanxing, let's be together. This matter can't be left alone, Quinn said coldly. Will do. Kaido's voice was icy cold, with a pair of beast eyes like lanterns. He seemed to see how he used his fruit awakening ability to repair his severely damaged body bit by bit. He will never forget the cold, unbearable pain. Hanxing, wait, the next meeting will definitely be your death. Kaido roared inwardly. Naval Headquarters, Marineford, advertisement. How is it? Can the equipment over there allow you to recover quickly? Staff officer, he said softly. Yes, but it will take a month. Sengoku's majestic voice came over the phone. 1 month. Our Marines have successfully captured Ace. Whitebeard will also receive news soon. 1 month. I will try to delay it. Excuse me. By the way, dispatch elite Marines from all over the world. When we recover, we will inform Ace about it. Yes, but what do you think about Hanxing? Do you want him to join Shichibukai? No need. It would be better if he was alone, but unfortunately now he has formed a pirate group, and there are powerful characters like Bullet and Redfield in it. Shichibukai is no longer attractive to him, Sengoku said solemnly. I don't like it. That's right. The 5th Emperor is about to appear on the sea. Staff Officer Crane sighed, as the reward for Hanxing going to increase. By the way, Hanxing's pirate group is exposed. What is the name of his pirate group? Sengoku gritted his teeth. I don't know, Staff Officer, he said truthfully. Then don't write the name of the pirate group, add it to the top, and tomorrow I want him to be the most dazzling existence in the sea. You still mean to kill with a knife. Put Hanxing on the fire. I'm afraid that the Red Earl and Hanxing are there. Those people may not be Hanxing's opponents. Staff, he thought at a glance. It doesn't matter. Anyway, it's all a dog bites a dog's hair. The more intense they fight, the cheaper one is not our Marine. Sengoku said in the ward full of disinfection smell. Understood. I know what to do. You pay attention to rest, he said and hung up the phone. 3 days later, West Blue, in a street, just finished eating. People who have nothing to do are discussing what happened at the expo a few days ago, and a few people get excited when they talk. Whoa, advertisement. At this time, sheets of white newsprint fell like snowflakes in the sky. Oh, here's the news. I'll take a look first. A young man picked up the newspaper and started watching. Suddenly, his body trembled, his pupils dilated, his mouth opened unknowingly, and the shock was hard to hide. The man who was explaining the whole story of the expo saw the expressions and movements on the youth, stopped explaining, patted the youth on the shoulder, and asked in confusion, Bell. What's wrong with you? Are you all right? Thump. As soon as Reed took a shot, the man named Bell fell to the ground and muttered softly, something has happened. Something has happened. What's the big deal? You've made it clear. Reed looked puzzled. Seeing Bell's appearance, the other frowned, thoughtfully, picked up the newspaper that had just fallen from the sky, and looked up. Thump. There is no accident, just like Bell, but this person is even more unbearable, and the whole person trembles like he has gone crazy. The performance of the two made Reed see the source of the matter. What's the big deal? It can scare you like this. Reed pouted, grabbed the newspaper in Bell's hand, and watched it. In the next second, Xuange stared, his face changed greatly, beads of sweat appeared on his forehead unknowingly, the whole person squatted on the ground, the newspaper in his hand fluttered in the wind, and he could vaguely see the content on it. Hanxing Pirates. The name of the pirates is unknown. Captain Hanxing. In the photo of Hanxing below, the reward amount is followed by a series of zeros after 5, and the initial amount is 5 billion Baileys. Crew. Red Earl Redfield. Photo. The reward amount is 4.5 billion Bailey. It is 500 million Bailey worse than Hanxing, and it also shows the horror of Red Earl's strength from the side. Advertisement. Crew. Devil's Descendants Bullet. Photos. Bounty 2 billion. Crew. The Blind Swordsman smiles. Photos. The reward is 2 billion. As soon as Hanxing and others offered a reward in the newspaper, the sea, which was not very calm before, became vigorous again with Marine's fire. The scenes of these ordinary people are shown in various places of the sea, in the streets, in the taverns, in the restaurants. In the past, Bullet's screen was swiped first, and its popularity has not weakened. Later, the Hanxing Pirates swiped again. This screen refresh is more than 10 times more lively than the last Bullet screen refresh. After all, Bullet was just a member of the Hanxing Pirates. North Blue. In the icy world, the tavern was crowded and lively, and everyone was holding the newspaper distributed today. Hanxing. I've heard of this. It's the one who defeated the Golden Lion. No matter how powerful it is, it's not worth 5 billion Baileys. You must know that the strongest Whitebeard in the 4 Emperors Pirates is only a little over 5 billion. Quote. What? Does that guy have the strength of Whitebeard now? Marine can really blow it. A pirate sneered. That's right. It's okay to join Bullet, and I agree with his record with a 2 billion reward, but what the hell is Earl Red? What the hell is a blind swordsman smiling? A 4.5 billion Bailey for these two. A 2 billion Bailey. Doesn't that mean that the Red Earl is a little weaker than Hanxing, and the blind swordsman Yishao has the same strength as Bullet? Stop kidding. Another pirate also joined disgust. This kind of discussion sounded from time to time in various places on the sea. These people discussed and dissatisfied, but no one challenged Hanxing. Underscore. Chapter 416. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Just kidding. The ones who can defeat the Golden Lion are not the ones who can challenge them, and at most they are just complaining. However, the number of pirates who questioned Hanxing's bounty has not decreased, but more and more. It can even be said that they are everywhere. It is a pirate group with 8 questioning people who are jealous, envious, and dissatisfied. Hanxing several people become the target of public criticism at once. Comma. On the boundless sea, a huge free sailboat rides the wind and waves at high speed. On the plywood, Hanxing looked at the newspaper in his hand with a sneer at the corner of his mouth. Marine. That's really possible. Do you want us to bake on the fire? This is a naked conspiracy. We have to take it hard. He said with a smile behind him. As we all know, in New World, the strength of pirates represents the level of their bounty. Marine raised Hanxing's bounty to 5 billion alongside Whitebeard, firstly to make Hanxing and them a public enemy on the sea, and secondly to displease the New World 4 Emperors. Third, Hanxing and the others can't justify anything. Why do they say that they are not as good as Whitebeard, not as good as the New World 4 Emperors? This is an admission without justification, an admission that everything in the Marine newspaper is true. Kill 3 birds with 1 stone. Not the usual ruthlessness. Having read various novels in the 3 kingdoms, Hanxing immediately analyzed Marine's strategy. Advertisement. If ordinary people were caught by Marine like this, maybe they would really explain it, or even hide it, and wait for the storm to pass. But, Hanxing is different. His strength is not comparable to the 4 Emperors. Even if the 4 Emperors attack, there is no trace of fear. Marine, I'll let you know what it's all about. Well deserved, a flop. What did the captain mean? Redfield seemed to have thought of something, and tentatively asked, a fight. With the news of this newspaper, don't think that our pirate ship has become the target of the New World. There is only one fight. It is still a very fierce and world-renowned war, and we must be sure that our strength is worthy of its name. Only in this way this is the way to break the game. Hanxing's eyes were dark and his tone was flat. Captain, I remember they didn't Marine let you join Shichibukai. Didn't you drag it? Then Marine did it. Didn't they plan to make you a Shichibukai? No, because our power has exceeded their expectations, and we have the strength to attack the 5th Emperor on the sea. If you really become Shichibukai, that old Sengoku will have trouble sleeping. He grinned. Otherwise, they wouldn't have spread our information to the world and put us on fire. What are we going to do now? Are we going to start a war with the 4 Emperors? Bullet, who was a little weak, came out of it and exclaimed excitedly. Hanxing glanced at Bullet. Don't worry. Get the reputation of our pirates out first. Pirates, Captain, you think of the name. Purple Eyes Thunder Emperor. As Hanxing spoke, the black pupils were still there. Purple ripples Rinnegan quietly emerged, and the gray-black thunderbolts roamed back and forth on the body, like the appearance of Sun Wukong turning into a Super Saiyan. Tut tisk, as expected of the captain. It's actually a thunderfruit person. It's an eye-opener. Redfield tutted twice, but his eyes were solemn. He felt the sense of death in his eyes from the lightning of Hanxing. It's so strong. Look, this is the ultimate strength of the captain. Bullet and a smile look no better than Redfield. It is this fatal crisis from the bottom of their hearts, and they can't help but tense up. Okay, take it easy. Just let you guys know the purpose of the pirates. Hanxing restrained the lightning on his body, returned to his original state, and smiled softly. Advertisement. It's terrifying. I'm afraid that Captain Whitebeard is no match for you. The 5 billion bounty is well deserved. Redfield sighed. This is the flag of our pirate ship, Hanxing said, and then he made a stroke, and a crack was torn in the space. Reach out. On the black canvas, a white skeleton was reflected, and its eyes were different from other skeletons, but instead glowed with purple light, like a light bulb. Around the skeleton, silver-white electric snakes danced, winding and covering the skeleton completely. This flag, not bad. It fits the captain's strength. Redfield nodded. I'm going to hang him up, Bullet said, and regardless of everyone's reaction, he took the flag from Hanxing's hand and hung it directly on the top of the railing of the pirate ship. The flag and the name are all there. Only the battle, the captain said, is left. He smiled and pondered. Are you ready to attack that 4 Emperors regiment? Redfield asked. An earth-shattering war, but also in line with the strength of the 5 billion bounty, except for the 4 Emperors to become their hunting targets in the sea, there is no other possibility. Kaido of the beasts, Hanxing smiled slightly. Kaido, Redfield looked surprised, didn't he be cut in half by you? What, isn't he dead yet? I just cut his body in 2, and use his fruit's ability to add the fruit's awakening. It may not be impossible to live, but, it doesn't matter, whether he lives or not has nothing to do with me. What I want is his territory. Kaido's territory is Ghost Island, which is located in Wano-Kuni. Wano-Kuni is in a closed state in New World. After defeating Kaido, he will occupy his territory and give us another place. Then, Hanxing's eyes narrowed, it's to wipe out the other 3 Emperors in New World, unify New World, and then Marine and World Government. The overthrow of the World Government is really a great project, Redfield murmured. Advertisement. However, we people, conquering the World Government is not enough to watch. Don't worry, isn't there a revolutionary army? Revolutionary army, it's a good move, do you think he will follow us? Or conquer them? It depends on what the dragon means. Just right, let's go to the headquarters of the revolutionary army and talk to Long. The revolutionary army is an indispensable card for us to overthrow the World Government. By the way, let's inform New World. Purple-eyed lady, the pirates are formed. Welcome those people to come to court death. Half a day later, through the underground intelligence organization, Hanxing's pirate flag and the name of the pirate spread throughout the New World. In particular, his famous saying that he welcomed all pirates to come and seek death made New World extremely excited. All the pirates who have complained about Hanxing have been looking for the whereabouts of the Hanxing pirates, and they have to fight Hanxing thoroughly. Some of these bounties are no less than 7-8 billion big pirates. Just as everyone was looking for it, a word or information spread throughout New World. Ulster Island, the purple-eyed Thunder Emperor pirates are waiting for you. 3 days, how many come, how many kills, 3 days later, I hope you don't seek death. Ulster, not far from Bullet Treasure Island, is a medium-sized island. The upper half is grass without sand and gravel, and the other half is lush with lush flowers and trees, similar to a yin and yang tai chi, _. Chapter 417. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Divide the whole island into 2 different colors. On the edge of the barren gravel, Hanxing and others stood here bored, not far from his pirate ship. On the tall flagpole, the purple-eyed thunder pirates fluttered in the wind, showing the fact that Hanxing and others were here. Captain, you said those people really won't come to die. Bullet stood beside Hanxing, his eyes full of excitement. Who knows? Anyway, just kill him. Hanxing smiled indifferently. Aren't you going to recruit some members? Yi smiled. No, when the 4 emperors are attacked, I'm worried that there will be no one available. Shaking his head slightly, Hanxing paused and said, you guys have a good time with them here. I'll go to the revolutionary army. Don't let us accompany you. The revolutionary army is the largest force on the ocean besides the world government and marine. You are alone. She smiled a little worriedly. Don't worry, I want to leave. That guy Long can't keep me. Besides, we went to see the revolutionary army together. The goal is too big, and the headquarters of the revolutionary army will be exposed. How'd I still want to sneak past? I just use you to attract everyone's attention. I will go meet dragons alone. Is there really no problem? Redfield frowned. No problem. I'll leave the matter here to you. I'll go first. Hanxing rose into the air and waved at everyone. His figure flickered and disappeared from the sight of everyone below. After confirming that Hanxing had left, Redfield smiled slightly. Don't think about it so much. With the captain's strength, the revolutionary army will not be able to keep him, so let's rest assured to attract the attention of the world here. It seems that some pirates are coming. Do you want to go and play? Redfield pointed to the pirate ship in the distance, looking at Smile and Bullet. Advertisement. I'll go. It's just that the injury has just recovered, so let's exercise. Bullet clasped his hands. Click, click. There was a sound of bones breaking like fried beans. He staggered and walked into the distance. The headquarters of the revolutionary army is located in Baldigo, the island of white soil on the Grand Line, and Hanxing is now in the New World. If he wants to get there, he must return to the Grand Line. The gray thunder light filled the air, turning into a gray streamer, with a speed that was unattainable for ordinary people. In just 2 hours, Hanxing had already appeared over the Sabayati archipelago. After using the transformation technique, I went to the black market to buy a pointer to Baldigo, and flew towards the pointer again. It is pitch black as ink, the crescent moon hangs high, and the endless stars are dotted like diamonds. Hanxing fell from the sky, looking at the deserted island, frowning. It seems that the situation of the revolutionary army is not very good. Click. The iron door in front of him opened, and a figure walked out, wearing a pink dress, a red goggles hat, short orange hair underneath, and a pair of high-heeled shoes, making a rattling sound. Koala Revolutionary Army cadre partner, known as the second sister-in-law. Welcome your guests. Mr. Long has been waiting for a long time. Koala was a little surprised to see Hanxing. Shouldn't this guy fight those pirates in New World? Why? Feeling lost, Koala hurriedly stretched out his white and tender arm and made a gesture of please. How long are you waiting? How come Long knew I was coming? Hanxing raised his brows and asked in confusion. Advertisement. I don't know about this. You should ask Mr. Long yourself. Koala shook his head. His tone was neither humble nor arrogant. After a while, walking through some dark passages, Hanxing, led by Koala, came to a brightly lit hall. On the ordinary mahogany chair, Long sat there calmly. Next to it, 2 cups of tea were steaming. Just doing it plainly, a majesty but unconsciously revealed, this is the exclusive breath of the superior. Similar to ancient emperors, generals, bosses in the last world of Hanxing. Behind the dragon, a young man stood quietly, looking straight at Hanxing. His eyes showed a little curiosity, but more vigilance. Sabo, one of Luffy's 3 brothers, the second eldest, was dissatisfied with the rules of the family, and then went out to sea by himself in a small boat, and encountered the celestial dragon's ship, which was destroyed by the celestial dragons. Falling into the sea, he happened to be rescued by the dragon passing by the ship. After waking up, he lost his memory, and then joined the revolutionary army. Until now, he is now the second in command of the revolutionary army. The chief of staff of the revolutionary army is second only to the dragon. Do it. Seeing Hanxing approaching, the dragon gestured. Without any hesitation, Hanxing went straight up, looked at the dragon on the opposite side, took a sip from the teacup in his hand, and said, how did Mr. Long know that I was coming here? The information of the revolutionary army is not only on the ground, but also in the sky. Long said, picking up a pigeon on the ground and stroking it carefully. Even if it's in the sky, you have to be able to see my figure. Said calmly, Hanxing didn't panic. No need, as long as it's lightning. Long shook his head. Hanxing suddenly said, so it is. Tell me what you're here for. Don't say you came here from Luffy and New World, you just came here to spend the night. Long folded his hands, rested his elbows on the table, and looked directly at Hanxing. Advertisement. Okay, I'm not talking nonsense. The Revolutionary Army joins my pirate group. As soon as Hanxing said this, Sabo's expression changed and he said angrily, impossible. Absolutely impossible. Even Long's face turned cold, his eyes looking at Hanxing were full of indifference. The scene became silent and audible in an instant, and the swords were drawn. Hanxing didn't seem to see it, took a sip of tea, and said with a smile, don't look at me like that, trust me. If you do it, you will definitely lose. And, I haven't finished yet, what are you in such a hurry for? You said, I hope you don't joke about that kind of thing just now. Long said coldly. I want to unify this chaotic sea, end this chaotic world, and restore peace to the world. Finally, I will lead these forces and destroy Marine and overthrow the world government. Hanxing's face was flat and his voice was sonorous and powerful. Sounds good, if you want to end this troubled world, you must destroy the New World 4 emperors first. Even Marine can't do it, do you think you can? Sabo folded his fists, with a sneer on his face. You said it very well, but the reality may be very cruel. 4 emperors, you can't shake it at all, Long thought. After a pause, he continued, your ideals are in harmony with our revolutionary army, why don't you join our revolutionary army? What a pity, I want to come, now I have nothing, just some fame, next time we come, let's talk about it. Hanxing got up, his tone was neither humble nor arrogant, turned and walked outside. Actually, you don't have to do this at all, join our revolutionary army, and your ideal will definitely be realized one day in the future. Chapter 418. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. No need, wait for me to sweep the New World and destroy the 4 emperors, let's talk about it. When that time comes, your revolutionary army will definitely join my pirate group. Hearing Hanxing's stern tone, Long became interested, yes, as long as you sweep New World and make New World your only force, then you can convince me. Why not let the revolutionary army join you? Mr. Long, Sabo was a little anxious. Long stretched out his hand and directly stopped Sabo from speaking, his eyes looked at Hanxing flatly. The light in the eyes is flowing, and there seemed to be thousands of changes in it, like a sharp sword trying to see through Hanxing. Hanxing was indifferent, his expression was calm, and his aura was as heavy as Mount Tai. Then it settled, taking a deep look at the dragon, Hanxing disappeared from everyone's sight with a flicker. Why did Mr. Long agree to Hanxing's condition? Sabo jumped out impatiently and hurriedly asked. Looking up at the crescent moon hanging high in the dark night, Long took a deep breath and said, if he can really wipe out the New World pirates and dominate the New World, it means that he has the ability to overthrow the world government. It means that he will become the third largest force in the sea after the revolutionary army. If he wants to unify the New World, he has to face not only the 4 emperors but also the Marines. If they are all defeated, then there are only 2 paths in front of him, one is our revolutionary army, and the other is the world government. Which of the 2 do you think is the weakest? Long's eyes were deep and his tone was flat, but what he said made Sabo extremely cold. Who is the weakest between the revolutionary army and the world government? Do you still need to think about it? If the revolutionary army is strong, why do you still use it to hide and act like a mouse? Rather than letting him attack us directly, it's better to make a bet for him in advance, which can be regarded as a way out for the revolutionary army. Of course, Long's voice changed, patted Sabo's shoulder, and said with a smile, all this is based on the premise of Hanxing unifying the New World, and unifying the New World is not a trivial matter. For now, let's do what we have to do. Advertisement. The next morning, Hanxing opened his sleeping eyes in a hotel. After eating something and paying homage to the 5 Zhang temple, Hanxing flew towards Yishao and others. When I came back, it was already dusk, and at the same time, around the island, there were scattered wooden boards, broken pirate ships, and Red Sea water. I've only been gone for a day. How many people did you kill? Hanxing looked at the indifferent 3 people and asked in surprise. Yo, the captain is back, Bullet said. Okay, how many did you kill? The water around here has turned red, Hanxing said angrily. Not much, just a few hundred, Yi smiled and pondered. Hanxing. All right, he thought too much. Captain, how's the talk with the revolutionary army? Field said. It's a promise, let's wipe out all the forces in the world first, Xing said lazily. Agreement, good, it's time for a battle, Redfield said with a smile. Stay here tomorrow, then go to Wano Kuni. Take over Kaido of the Beast's territory, Hanxing groaned, rubbing his chin. Yes, the 3 of Redfield nodded. A day later, with a smile and a slash, the last pirate ship in front of him was cut in half, and Hanxing's 3-day appointment to New World was finally completed. Looking at the surrounding smoke filled with gunpowder and the sea of blood churning, Hanxing frowned, walked to his pirate ship, and said plainly, let's go. Find a place to eat and then go to Wano Kuni. Advertisement. 3 days later, Hanxing stood on the plywood of the pirate ship, looking at the boundless sea, and said calmly, are you coming to Wano Kuni? Yeah, we have gone deep into the New World. Now this is the site of the BIGMOM pirates. Kaido and BIGMOM are bordering each other, and it is estimated that they will reach the Kaido sphere of influence in an hour. Redfield took out a map road. Kaido's real troops are all in Wano Kuni, and the members he stays outside are just dispensable cannon fodder, or eyeliners, don't care. Go straight to Wano Kuni when you get there. Hanxing shook his head. Huh, there is a boat. Yi smiled and frowned. It's still a broken ship. Did it die? Redfield said. Hanxing narrowed his eyes. Sharingan turned on quietly, with a hint of surprise in his eyes. It's them. How about Captain? You know him, Bullet said. Mamasuke, the only son of Kazuki Oden, seems to have just escaped from Wano Kuni. Kazuki Oden, it was his only son, but wasn't the Kazuki family exterminated by Kaido 10 years ago? He smiled and frowned. This love involves Momonosuke's mother's ability. What ability? Where? Hanxing finished speaking when a loud voice came from a distance. Is there anyone? Can we get on the boat? The rickety broken boat appeared in front of Hanxing and the others. On the deck, Kinemon hugged Momonosuke and shouted, and beside him were Raizo and Kanjuro. Several people looked at Hanxing and others expectantly. Advertisement. Captain, are you going to kill them? With a sudden smile, he stepped forward and said. He knew very well how much prestige the Kazuki family had in Wano Kuni, and he had visited Wano Kuni once as an idle knight. Although later, after Kaido occupied Wano Kuni, he wantonly wiped out all the deeds of Kazuki Oden in Wano Kuni, the remnants, and even distorted the facts. But even so, there are still many people in Wano Kuni, secretly waiting for the Kazuki family to lead them to peace, not to be oppressed, and to live a happy life. It was clear with a smile that the regiment commander wanted to occupy Wano Kuni. Kaido was the biggest enemy, and the Kazuki clan was the other. Hanxing was a little surprised that he would say such a thing with a smile, but then a smile flashed in his eyes, and saying this with a smile meant that he was completely integrated into his pirate group, and Ishin thought of him. With a smile, Kanjuro and the others' faces changed greatly. Their hearts were full of bitterness. They had just escaped from Wano Kuni, and now they have encountered wolves again. The three of Kanjuro looked at each other and secretly made up their minds. Even if he died, he would protect young Master Momonosuke. With him, Wano Kuni would have hope. Your Excellency, we won't get on your ship. We are the one who disturbed us. We'll leave now, Lei Zhang said cautiously. Hanxing didn't speak, and looked at Momonosuke, who was held by Kinemon in his arms. The scene was extremely silent for a while, waiting for Hanxing's choice. The others from Kinemon pretended to be trembling and looked at Hanxing nervously. Suddenly, Hanxing turned his head, breaking the silence around him. What do you think, Bullet? Since it is a descendant of the Kazuki clan, then kill it. This is a major obstacle to our future rule over Wano Kuni. Bullet grinned. You are cruel. Anyway, you were in the same boat as Kazuki Oden. Redfield shook his head, looking like he was watching a good show. Chapter 419. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The old master, Kanjuro murmured, looking at Bullet in disbelief. My name is Bullet. It looks like you just came out of Wano Kuni and haven't heard a word. I'm also a member of the Roger pirate ship. Bullet shrugged. Turning his head, he looked at Redfield and said, you are wrong about this. Kazuki Oden and I don't deal very well with that guy. If it wasn't for the captain and the co-captain, I would definitely beat that old boy every day with hypocrisy and self-righteousness. Don't you say that about my dad. Momonosuke, who was lying on Kinemon's body, suddenly shouted loudly, looking at Bullet with anger in his eyes. Your father, are you Kazuki Oden's son? Bullet frowned. Judging by the time, you can't be so young, it should be fake. You guys are really okay. You dare to pretend to be Kazuki Oden's son, even though I don't get along with Kazuki Oden, but you pretend to be his son. Don't blame me for being ruthless. Bullet's eyes widened, his body filled with murderous aura. As a reckless man, he didn't turn his head very quickly, but he also knew the fact that his pirate ship was going to enter Wano Kuni. And to say who has the most influence in Wano Kuni, it is naturally Kazuki Oden. When he followed Roger and others to Wano Kuni, the scene was not ordinary. And Yi Xiao also said just now that he was going to kill a few people in front of him. Yi Xiao also understood through his contacts in the past few days that he is strong and has a flexible mind. He is stronger than him. In the pirate picture, he can only act as a thugs. Yi Xiao and Redfield are both civil and military. Since Yi Xiao has just opened his mouth, it will definitely not be wrong. No matter what happens to him, just kill what they are talking about. Feeling the murderous aura on Bullet's body like a sea of corpses and blood, Momonosuke and the others looked extremely ugly, especially Momonosuke, whose eyes were full of fear. Sir, it happened because we are really Kazuki Oden-sama's servants. Please, for Oden's sake, let us go. Kanjuro knelt on the ground and begged for mercy. There's no way. Don't beg for mercy. This murderous intent makes their hair stand up and their scalps tingle. Advertisement. It was as if they had come to fight on the battlefield and fell into an illusion. This killing intent was only felt when Oden-sama and Kaido were fighting. In other words, the strong man not far away, at least has the strength of Lord Oden, and it is very likely that he is a member of the Roger Pirates. Bullet. Kinemon thought about this name carefully in his heart. He remembered that Oden-sama once told him the name of Bullet. He is a fighting maniac. He hesitated. You are Douglas Bullet, the descendant of the devil. If you think about it, then what did that guy Oden say about me? You should know. If I guess correctly, it should be a fighting maniac, a reckless man, etc. Bullet said with interest. Kinemon smiled awkwardly, and said cautiously, Lord Bullet, can you let us go? Finally, he added, Lord Oden Sake. The corners of Bullet's mouth twitched, and he remained silent, looking like a wolf seeing a sheep and coveting. Seeing Bullet's expression, Kinemon's face sank, knowing that today would be doomed. Okay, stop playing, send them on their way. Xing shook his head and smiled. Can you tell us, why do you want us? We have no injustice with you. Come on, this is the first time we've met. Momonosuke gritted his teeth, changing his previous cowardice. Since you're Oden's son, I tell you, Hanxing grinned, showing his white teeth, we're going to Wano Kuni, killing Kaido and others, and making Wano Kuni his own. The Kazuki family, the influence in Wano Kuni is too great. Hanxing's face turned cold as he said this, and there must be no other voice on my sight. As a reward, I'll personally send you on your way. The right hand stretched forward, and a violent suction burst out from Hanxing's palm. Unprepared, Momonosuke flew out of Kinemon's hand and appeared on Hanxing's palm. Young master, the expressions of the three of Kinemon changed, they took out their weapons, and without the slightest hesitation, they attacked Hanxing. Beam jumping clown, Redfield sneered, then waved. Advertisement. Squeak. A bat with sharp fangs flew out of his hand, surrounded the three of Kinemon, and bit them frantically. Damn it, the three people's expressions changed, and they frantically attacked the surrounding bats. After a while, not only did the surrounding bats show no signs of weakening, but more and more, not only that, these bats were biting on their bodies as these bats gnawed. Their bodies gradually became weak, pale, and even dizzy. Bat teeth are poisonous. Kinemon bit his tongue to keep himself awake and shouted loudly. On the other hand, Raizo was similar to Kinemon, but Kanjuro's face was pale, but his eyes were extremely bright. It looks like Momonosuke and the others are doomed. I want to leave by myself. After making up his mind, he took out his brush and started painting. He divided his mind and started to draw the flying animal he wanted while resisting the attack of the bat. His speed was very fast, and in the blink of an eye, an incomparably speed flying eagle appeared on the paper. Thump, thump. Just after finishing the painting, two sounds of falling to the ground sounded next to him. Kanjuro's expression changed, and he hurriedly used his devil fruit ability. The lifelike eagle was instantly resurrected, its wings spread, and the wind howled. The body jumped and quickly rode on the back of the eagle, directing it to fly high in the sky. Redfield and Bullet watched with interest. Looking at Kanjuro, who had only a black spot left under his blinking face, he exhaled a long breath after knowing that he had escaped his life. Advertisement. But he didn't wait for him to finish his long call. A sharp slash flew from below, directly splitting the eagle below him in two. Kanjuro fell from below, but he was not panicking. Falling from such a high altitude, coupled with his intentional inclination, he will perfectly miss the four people who made him despair. Of course, the wish is very beautiful, but the reality is very cruel. A shadow flew from a distance in the sky, and upon a closer look, Kanjuro was so frightened that his soul was blown away. That's a group of bats all over the sky, don't even think about whose handwriting it is. At this time, he was standing in the sky, and he didn't have any strength, let alone aerial martial arts. He could only be surrounded by bats, tearing them apart, biting them weakly, and slowly caught him on the boat where Hanxing and the others were. At this time, on the Hanxing pirate ship, the bodies of Kinemon and Rei Zhang were lying there, and there was no life left, while Momonosuke in Hanxing's hand looked at Hanxing with red eyes, eager to eat his flesh and blood. I don't like that look of yours. Since you're going down to accompany your father, Hanxing has no interest in playing anymore, so Hanxing directly broke Momonosuke's neck. He was very displeased with Momonosuke. What is there to say? One Piece can be wrong. Momonosuke must die. Because of his young age, this guy did not miss the cheapness of various women such as Nami in the original work. In addition to his own Wano-kuni strategy, killing him is still an explanation for the Heian giving them a bad breath. Underscore. Chapter 420. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Throwing Momonosuke's body into the sea, Hanxing looked at the deck, the weak Kanjuro. With a smile, he said, am I calling you Akasaka Kushiro Kanjuro? Or should I call you Kurozumi Kanjuro, General Kurozumi's undercover agent? What are you talking about? Me, I don't understand. Kanjuro slumped to the ground, panic flashed in his eyes, pretending not to understand. The identity of Kurozumi Kanjuro is unknown to anyone except Kurozumi Orochi, how this person knows the secret he has been hiding for many years. Could it be? What kind of cooperation does he have with the general? Kanjuro's heart was violently ups and downs, and his mind swirled. It doesn't matter if you don't admit it. For me, Kaido and the Kurozumi Orochi are all enemies. What does it have to do with whether you are the Kurozumi clan? It just so happens that Momonosuke is already dead. Go and accompany them, Hanxing said, motioning for Redfield to start. Squeak, squeak. The bat neighed, and Kanjuro died full of unwillingness. Thump, thump. Redfield manipulated the bat and threw the three corpses on the deck into the sea, while he walked towards Hanxing. I don't understand. How come Momonosuke is so young? Yeah, I don't understand too, Captain. When Kazuki Oden left our pirate group, Roger Danzo took us back to Wano-kuni once, and he already had a child at that time. It's called Momosuke. You said that this person is also called Momosuke. It has been more than 10 years since now. Kazuki Oden's child is already in his teens now. How can he be so young? But I don't look like the fake ones. I know those people. When Captain Roger and others arrived in Wano-kuni, they were by Oden's side as a foil. They were Oden's domestic servants. Kazuki Oden's servant is protecting that kid. In this way, that kid is indeed Kazuki Oden's son. Captain, I am a little confused. Bullet scratched his head, wondering. Advertisement. It's simple. That's what I was just about to say. The reason for this is all because of Kazuki Oden's wife, Momosuke's mother. More than 10 years ago, Kaido and Kurozumi Orochi teamed up to defeat Kazuki Oden and set Kazuki Oden's clan on fire. Just when she wanted to burn Momonosuke and others to death, Kazuki Oden's wife used Devil Fruit's ability. Speaking of which, Hanxing paused for a moment. The name of her Devil Fruit is unknown, but you are very envious of her fruit ability. Time. Is it the manipulation of time? He smiled and pondered. It's not about manipulating time, it's going through. Over. Time. Hanxing said the last few words word by word. Traveling through time. The three of Bullet's eyes were extremely horrified. Time accelerates. Time decelerates. They have heard of it, but through time, even a strong person like them is a little unacceptable for a while. This is really too mysterious. You mean they traveled through the present more than 10 years ago? Bullet's voice was trembling as he took a deep breath. The side effects should be great, said one. This kind of fruit ability, it is said that it is time travel. It is better to say that it is sacrificing everything, allowing people to travel through time and space. Devil Fruit is just a link. That's true, he smiled. Sacrificing her own life, Mrs. Kazuki brought Momonosuke and Raizo to the future more than 10 years ago. This is the era. Looking at their appearance, it is estimated that they have just arrived not long ago. There are gains and losses. This kind of heaven-defying ability is worth a life. Redfield smiled slightly. I'm a little curious, how did the captain know these secrets? Redfield's words attracted the two of Yishao and Bullet, and looked at Hanxing expectantly. It's a kind of ability. Hanxing turned around and looked at the sea in front of him and said perfunctorily. Advertisement. Anyway, the captain is not the enemy anyway, Redfield whispered, apparently giving up the subject. An hour later, the pirate ship driven by Hanxing came to Kaido's area. Before long, a pirate ship appeared in Hanxing's line of sight. That ship was undoubtedly Kaido's pirate ship. The people in front stop. You have entered the range of the beast pirate ship. What about the captain? Bullet asked eagerly. Don't worry about them. Just kill them. Let's go straight to Wano-kuni. These are all scumbags. Hanxing shook his head. Got it. He nodded with a smile. Clang. The bamboo sword was pulled out instantly and waved at the pirate ship ahead. Hum. The sword chi overflowed. The blue sword light was extremely bright, and a vertical crescent sword chi shot out from the bamboo sword. The dazzling sword chi was long against the wind, and in the blink of an eye, it turned into a sky-covering sword chi, like a giant pillar erected, galloping forward. Wherever he passed, the surrounding sea suddenly split apart, like a piece of cloth being cut into two halves. On both sides of the split seawater, you can clearly see the deep seascape inside, as well as the looming sea kings inside. What is even more surprising is that there seems to be something blocking the sea on both sides, so that the seawater on both sides cannot be merged together for a long time. A sword that breaks the sea is nothing more than that. The 100-beast pirate ship not far away did not hesitate, and was directly cut into two pieces by the slashing slash that covered the sky, sinking to the bottom of the sea, and no one survived. After a long period of time, the seemingly still sea surface returned to normal, and the surrounding seawater gradually converged and returned to its original state. Advertisement. The sea was impoverished, as if nothing had happened. What an amazing knife, Hanxing praised. It's not as good as the captain. Yi smiled modestly, and stood with his sword. He didn't put the sword away. After all, there were many beasts pirates behind him, and he was busy next time. In fact, just as he thought with a smile, after beheading countless beasts pirate ships, a few pirate ships finally came to a huge waterfall. Are you here yet? I remember that Wano-kuni is above this waterfall, Bullet said with some familiar eyes, recalling and pondering. How beautiful, how magnificent, Redfield praised. Fatian waterfall is just like that, or a carp leaping over the dragon gate. Hanxing commented. Wano-kuni, at the battery near the port. Yanjia and Plague Quinn stood around, with solemn expressions on their faces. Do you know who the person here is? I don't know. I only know that one is a master swordsman, and all the pirate ships in the waters near us that went to resist were all destroyed by his sword. What is the pirate flag? Is it the BIGMOM pirates? Jin asked calmly. No, we all know the Four Emperors pirates. It was a pirate ship with purple ripples in its eyes, and the surroundings were like thunder and lightning. The younger brother's trembling memories came from the phone. Jin Yi and Quinn looked at each other. Their eyes were extremely solemn, and Quinn was covered with sweat beads on his forehead. Purple Eyes Thunder Emperor Pirates. Hanxing. The two spoke at the same time. Underscore. Chapter 421. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. You can't go wrong. The entire sea that can use this pirate flag is Hanxing alone. Jin's tone was extremely solemn, as if he was facing a great enemy. If it were him, we would be in trouble. Boss Kaido is recovering from his injuries, and the two of us are definitely not his opponents. Quinn exhaled a smoke ring and said coldly. And those outposts outside are useless. His super giant that can fly is not only powerful, but also very powerful in defense. Our attack may not break his defense. Remove all the outposts. Let's wait for him at Ghost Island, our base camp. If it's him, his target should be our beasts pirates. Are you trying to defeat our pirate group while the boss is seriously injured? Jin's face was extremely ugly. Let's go. This place can't be resisted. It is good. While the two of them were talking, they walked towards Wano-kuni, and at the same time they took away the members of the surrounding beasts pirates, leaving only the empty outposts. After sighing at the bottom of Feishuan Waterfall, several people looked at each other in dismay. How did you get up to such a high waterfall? Redfield smiled helplessly. The captain probably has to ask you again. Small meaning. Hanxing shook his head and smiled. The whole person hangs high in the air and stretches down towards the ship below. The terrifying suction burst out, and the huge ship floated directly in the air. It's so beautiful, Redfield exclaimed. In front, a green and meandering pine tree stands in the clouds like a crescent moon, and below is an incomparably exquisite pavilion, standing there. Advertisement. The water sprinkled, reflecting the beautiful scenery in the distance into colorful rays of light, like a fairyland on Earth. Indeed, even if I've been here once, every time I see this scene, I'm still shocked. Bullet nodded. While the two were talking, Hanxing controlled the pirate ship and landed on the sea ahead. There is no one in the fort ahead, he said in a deep voice with a sudden smile. It's okay. Thinking about it, I already knew that we were here, and we have withdrawn to the base camp. Hanxing landed on the deck with a look of indifference. After passing the waterfall, and no one blocked it, it didn't take long for a few people to drive the pirate boat to the shore of Wano-kuni. They didn't hide it, and walked down swaggeringly. After all, the current situation is that they are strong and Kaido is weak. What's the captain going to do next? Go straight to the trouble with the beast's pirates, Bullet exclaimed. It's about to smile. Hanxing turned his head and smiled. Just now, the conversation between Redfield and Bullet fell directly into Hanxing's ears, and Hanxing saw the lonely smile on his face. As a good captain, how can you make your crew become blind? Why not just change an eye? There are many Hokage worlds. Kun is gone. Madara Lord Cassie's eyeballs are dug out and placed in his own eyes, and then directly enter the battle. Let the blind see again. Things in the world of pirates are very common in the world of Hokage. He didn't want his crew to leave regrets. Hanxing's words made Bullet look at each other and smile, and at the same time they were confused. What does the captain mean? I don't understand. Does this have anything to do with me? Help you change a pair of eyes and let you see again. Hanxing doesn't give a shit. What? Change your eyes. See the light again. Yi Xiao said in a trembling voice as a huge wave broke out in his heart. Advertisement. Even Bullet and Redfield next to them were very surprised. They had heard of people who could cure broken hands and feet, but they had never heard of them being able to change their eyes. The smiling eyes, which they also knew out of curiosity, were the whites of the eyes without pupils, which were really penetrating. Okay, from the look of you, I know that you really want to see the light again. First go to the front and I will make a house, and then I will change your eyes. Yi Xiao still doesn't believe Hanxing's words, so he bites the bullet and says euphemistically, let's go to attack Kaido of the Beast today, Captain. If I really change my eyes, I would be a little uncomfortable for a while. Moreover, even if I succeed, I have to get used to it for a while, and the combat power will be greatly reduced. It won't be long. Hanxing said everyone had to listen, and after a while, a few people went deep into Wano-kuni not far away. Hanxing made a large wooden house with wood style. Bullet and Redfield are no strangers to such amazing means. After all, the pirate ship they are sailing now is made by Hanxing with wood style. What a practical ability. Redfield sighed with emotion. Then he was silent. He wanted to see how Hanxing changed his eyes for a smile and made a smile see the light again. Take out 2 small bottles from the space, and each bottle contains 2 penetrating eyeballs. It hurts a little bit, bear with it. Compared to being able to see the light again, this pain is nothing. Said with a flat smile. Hanxing didn't say a word, stretched out his hands into claws, each fingertip had a green light, and then directly buttoned down the white eyeballs of a smile, and put the eyeballs in the bottle on. After finishing the first one, Hanxing quickly installed the second one without hesitation. Then, use medical ninjutsu to treat the eye sockets for a smile to reduce pain. Such a simple and rude method, making Bullet and Redfield look at each other. Can this be cured? Isn't the captain playing? Their original intention was that if the captain can cure the smile, they will be able to fight without any scruples in the future. Now, forget it. It's better not to suffer that sin, and it's enough to suffer alone if you smile. Advertisement. Hanxing ignored the reaction of the two. He didn't do it for them. He was now thinking about smiling. How do you feel? The pain and burning sensation in my eyes have disappeared. I feel cool and warm. After thinking about it with a smile, very comfortable. Are you sure? Sure. He nodded with a smile. Okay, that's it. Open your eyes and take a look. Hanxing said with a smile and entered the medical chakra, and began to pack up the surrounding items. That's it, Captain. Are you kidding me? Bullet wondered. Redfield was silent, with a pair of eyes staring at him and smiling. White, dazzling. When I opened my eyes with a smile, it was this feeling at first, so I closed my eyes subconsciously. Even so, his face was extremely excited, and he just glanced at it, and he saw the blurred color of the house in the house. This has been a thing for many years to him. How long has it been? Nearly 30 years. I recalled with a smile. Redfield's pupils shrunk, and the smile filled his eyes. This kind of reaction can only happen subconsciously when someone who has been walking in the dark for a long time is suddenly illuminated by the light. I think it was the same when he came out of Impel Down. It took him a while to fully adapt. Smile. Your eyes can see it, Redfield said solemnly. Well, although I was shocked, I still saw some afterimages. Nodding with a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Underscore. Chapter 422. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Open your eyes and get used to it slowly. The reaction just now is a normal reaction. Open it slowly, and soon you will get used to it. Hanxing said with a smile. These are your original 2 eyeballs. Let's put them on you. The parents of your body and skin. Okay, he didn't care with a smile, and took the opportunity. Then slowly opened his eyes. The blurred vision gradually became clear, and everything around entered the fundus, although it was still a bit dazzling, but these were nothing to a smile. 2 days passed in the blink of an eye. These 2 days, several people have been here all the time. Nowhere to go. A smile is an effort to adapt, familiar with these new eyes. In the evening, the setting sun dyed the sky red like blood. Hanxing sat at the door and looked at the afterglow of the setting sun, feeling a little happy. Captain smiled and walked out. This is the sunset. I haven't seen it for many years. I miss it. The sunset is infinitely good, but it's only near dusk. With a murmur, he turned his head to look at him and smiled. How is it? Are you recovering? Very good. It's completely healed. You can enter the battle at any time. Speaking of this with a smile, the corners of his mouth unconsciously showed a smile. His vision has recovered, and his mood has not been generally happy and joyful these days. That's fine. Hanxing nodded. Then attack Kaido headquarters tomorrow. Can't delay it any longer. Can. The next day, early morning, with the white fish maw in the sky, Hanxing and the others got ready to go, ate some food, and headed towards the ghost island. In the past 2 days, although several people were eating and drinking nearby, the news did not fall, and the specific location where Kaido lived. Advertisement. Ghost Island is a huge skull, surrounded by mountains on all sides, and the skulls are compatible with the mountains. If you want to enter, you can only break through it from the main entrance. Inside the skull is where the Kaido pirates live. In the center of the ghost island, in a slightly dark room, the surrounding torches illuminate it as bright as day. On the throne, Kaido is sitting upright, all the bandages on his body have been removed, and there is no damage to his body, except for a scar that runs through the entire body from top to bottom. Where are they, Hanxing? Kaido's voice was thunderous in the bright beast's eyes. It's still in the same place, I don't know what they're doing. Jin frowned. Don't worry, Boss Kaido. They are at high altitudes of their houses, and they are monitored by our flying unit. Once there is any information, we will know as soon as possible. Quinn followed closely. Don't worry, Boss Kaido. The other fighting members are also ready. Flying Liu Bao, the tyrant. It's really fighting. All of them have been summoned back and gathered on the ghost island. Just wait for Hanxing and others to arrive. Kaido's secretary, Bao Huang said solemnly. Boss Kaido, Boss Jin, Boss Quinn. No good, no good. You asked me to give the Batman life paper to the Empower at all times, and it just went out. A little brother rushed in a panic. Got it. You go down, Jin. Yes, it looks like they're going to start moving. Jin said in a deep voice. Very good, very good. Dare to attack Laozi's headquarters. This time Laozi will definitely make you come and go. Kaido wiped the scar on his forehead and said coldly. Go on, get ready for battle. Kaido waved and shouted. Got it, Boss Kaido, X2. Jin and Quinn said, got up and walked outside. One by one, the pirates felt as if their minds had been smashed by someone, and all of a sudden they swirled and the pain was incomparable. Advertisement. If there is no accident in the future, it will be our headquarters. It is best not to destroy this place. In an instant, the entire ghost island entered a state of battle, and one by one the beast pirates stood at the main entrance with weapons. A pirate looked at the distant sea with a telescope, and suddenly, a dark shadow appeared in his sight. Boom. In this way, Hanxing and the others ignored the cannon fire and appeared at the main entrance of Onishima while driving the pirate ship Yuzai. The dark blue Haki erupted from Bullet, shrouding all the pirates around the main entrance like a volcano in an instant. The main gate is the only way for all members to enter the ghost island. This gate is equivalent to East Blue Lobe Town, New World the Fishman Island. Bang bang bang. Hearing this shout, the members of the beast's pirates had already been attentive to the crowd, so they did not hesitate to pick up the hot weapon in their hands and blast them into the distance. Cannonballs smashed on the blue protective cover. Nothing happened except for the starting point ripples. Even the two heavy weapons on the main entrance fort attacked. Outside the ghost island, with Kaido's preparations for battle, the whole message was passed layer by layer, and the huge machine of beasts pirates began to run wildly. Buzz, buzz, buzz. On the deck, the four of Hanxing stood vertically, facing the monstrous artillery fire and two blue lasers in the distance. All of them looked indifferent. On the turret, two heavy weapons, the blue light at the muzzle converge, save. These people have different shapes, but all of them have a sign and a certain feature of animals. These artificial animals' demon fruit power belong to the weak category, such as rabbits, sheep. To read the underlined version of the novel, please download the Philu novel app. Advertisement. When you arrive at the port, you have truly set foot on the land of the ghost island. However, at this time, there is no pirate ship in the port, and it is completely empty. Around the port, there are man-made demon fruit powers standing one after another. The speed of this black shadow was extremely fast, and it became clear in the blink of an eye. The huge 3 sailboats, several figures standing on the deck, and the pirate flags floating in the air all told who was coming. 2 turrets have been built around this gate with Marine's most advanced heavy thermal weapons. Clear. Ghost Island. At the main entrance. After entering through this gate, continue sailing, and soon you will arrive at the port of Ghost Island. This port was specially built by Ghost Island and especially used for docking pirate ships. Surrounded by members of the beast's pirates, these members are mainly hot weapons. Cold weapons are the most common members. There is no demon fruit power. After a while, these people couldn't hold on. They rolled their eyes and passed out. In the blink of an eye, there was not a single figure standing at the front door. Underscore. The captain wants me to take action. He laughed and said, Hanxing made him see the light again. This is higher than the sky. He can show it at this time. Come, come. The enemy is coming. Shoot me. Aster put down the telescope in his hand and shouted. It's really fierce. Such powerful artillery fire was used from the very beginning. Hanxing groaned slightly. While speaking, the black eyes suddenly turned scarlet, and the dark blue energy burst out from Hanxing, completely covering the entire tri-ship like a tide, like a solid barrier. No, Hanxing shook his head. Further inside, in the hall of the Ghost Island Palace, there is a tall figure with animal features. These people are also artificial demon fruit power, and these people are powerful animals among animals, such as elephants and lions. After a while, the gun barrel threw up and down, and 2 faint blue streamers shot into the distance. Bullet. Hanxing snapped. Chapter 423. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. After being defeated by conquerors, many pirates were in a coma. Hanxing and the others remained unchanged, and continued to move towards Onishima. The distant port, with the rapid speed of the pirate ship, gradually became clear, as well as the dense artificial animals' demon fruit power around the port. Bullet. Clear. The dark blue conquerors burst into the sea again, and the surging waves shrouded the crowd at the port. Thump, thump. The man-made demon fruit power that stood at the port and waited attentively, fell to the ground one after another. Those with stronger strength persisted, while those with weaker strength fell into a coma directly on the ground. When the Hanxing pirate ship arrived at the port, except for one pirate who was swaying unconscious, all the others fainted. Damn it, invaders. I will never let you in. The man growled. Just as he was about to do it, his mind ached, his eyes widened, and he followed in the footsteps of everyone below. Bullet retracted his fist and pouted, trash. This is the Ghost Island. Hanxing sighed as he looked at the huge skeleton in front of him. Mountains and skulls are completely compatible and integrated, and they are amazingly crafted. A smile followed. Let's go. That guy Kaido is probably already waiting for us. But, I have to say, this guy Kaido's vitality is really strong, and he was cut in half without dying. This is no one. Oh, Captain, you said Kaido wasn't dead, Redfield asked in surprise. At the beginning, they saw Hanxing split Kaido's Qinglong state in 2, so how could he still die? Not dead. I can feel his breath. Hanxing shook his head, his expression extremely indifferent. Advertisement. For him, it doesn't matter if Kaido dies or not. What if he doesn't die? The big deal is to let him die once. After speaking, take the 3 people and enter the cave of the Ghost Island. The cave is a little dark, but it is not pitch black, and there are burning torches hanging everywhere on both sides of the surrounding. The orange-yellow candle flame not only brings light here, but also brings a bit of warmth here. A huge figure appeared in front of Hanxing's line of sight, and the orange-yellow candle flames danced back and forth, blurring the figure inside. There are only black shadows that cover the sky, densely packed with Mahjong Hanxing and others. It's still garbage. The bullet is handed over to you. Hanxing gave the order indifferently. Clear. Conquerors filled the air, swept around like a wave, churning, and the weak figures fell to the ground again, making a heavy fall to the ground. Hum, hum. As the candles flickered, I could vaguely see the figure lying on the ground below. After a while, conquerors converged, and several tall figures stood there, as thick as Mount High. It's useless. We're not those little gangsters. One of the figures gave a grim smile. Hanxing was too lazy to pay attention to these wastes. He waved forward, and the three figures instantly charged forward in three afterimages. In the blink of an eye, several figures who were still standing fell unconscious to the ground. Ghost Island, said to be an island, is actually equivalent to a large city. The more you walk inside, the more powerful the characters inside become. In the end, Bullet's Conquerors has lost its effect. The tyrants, the real fights, the givers, these strong little brothers, have been cleaned up by Hanxing and others one after another. To this end, it took some time, and within half an hour, a tall iron gate appeared in everyone's sight. The iron gate is not only tall but also very thick. It is estimated that the weight of the iron gate alone is hundreds of pounds. Not only that, this iron gate is not made of ordinary iron materials, but seastone, all seastone. Advertisement. It is not an exaggeration to call it the seastone gate. Now the gate is wide open, as if waiting for Hanxing and others to enter. Tisk tisk. As expected of a country rich in seastone, it is so luxurious that the door is made of seastone. It's really rich. Redfield sighed with rare emotion. Let's go. Kaido is in there. The real battle is about to begin. Then, fists together, grinning, let's fight. Looking at Kaido up and down, now you smiled. Why didn't that knife cut you to death? What a pity. Standing next to him are the two major disasters and the 6 sons of the sky. No. It should be said that the 5 sons of the sky, after all, it was still 2 years ago, and Drake, the suspected marine traitor, hadn't joined the beast's pirates. Then let's see who dies. Hanxing's mouth twitched, and he said with a half smile. The ultra-high current flowed into Kaido's body along the Thunder 8 trigrams instantly. Kaido's whole body stood up, and the thunder and lightning filled the air, the smell of burning, and the aroma of meat permeated. Redfield held a paper umbrella in his hand, the red streamer flashed, and appeared in front of Jin and Quinn with a smile. You too. Your opponent is me. Hanxing. Kaido's eyes were burning with blazing flames, and the murderous intent was unconsciously revealed. Sparks splashed, Thunder 8 trigrams collided with the Thunder Sword in an instant. Not far away, the people who had just fought together saw this inadvertently, and the cadres belonging to the Kaido family frowned, and their faces became extremely ugly. Underscore. Crackle, crackle. Walking through the passage, a few people came to a very empty place. There was nothing around, and 2 thick circular lights in the sky came in through the eyes of the skeleton, making the entire hall extremely bright. Quinn and Jin looked at each other and charged towards Redfield. It is also true that he was cut in half with one knife, and he was almost dismembered. Even if he could live, he would not be able to recover in such a short period of time. Dong dong dong. Hanxing can beat Kaido in the heyday, not to mention the sick period now. Advertisement. Iron conducts electricity. After the words fell, the whole person took the lead in turning into an afterimage and rushing towards Kaido. Kaido is also not to be outdone, holding the Thunder 8 trigrams in his hand and resisting. A few vague figures could be seen in the front. There was a sound of shaking like a mountain, and Kaido's huge figure appeared in front of Hanxing. The 2 disasters are left to you. The rest is left to the 2 of you. Remember to save their lives. Hanxing explained to Redfield, Bullet, a smile and others. Looking for death, the arrogant breath erupted, and the monstrous figure like a demon shouted loudly. Call out. When, in his electromagnetic induction, Kaido's human body fluctuation has not recovered to its peak period, which means that Kaido's injury has not recovered yet, and it is a sick patient. Philo reminds you, 3 things to read, collect, recommend, and share. At this moment, Hanxing did not intend to keep his hands. One was to deter these people, and the other was to rein in it. It's me, Hanxing said indifferently after digging out his ears. On the other side, Ling Kong, Luzi and Yishao, Bullet and the others did not give in too much. As soon as Hanxing said this, a terrifying battle broke out. No problem, X. A rough voice came from the front with monstrous anger. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome to my place, Hanxing. The gray-black thunder light filled the air, and a gray-black thunder long sword appeared in Hanxing's hand as the thunder light converged. Torches illuminated, the red carpet paved the way, and a passage as bright as day appeared in front of everyone. Saying that, he walked in first, smiled behind him and waited for others to follow up without hesitation. Chapter 424. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Even the speed of the fight slowed down unknowingly. The battle has just started, and Kaido's boss has already been cooked by lightning. This battle will not end there. Since ancient times, king to king, general to general, soldier to soldier, the 3 have been clearly distinguished. Kaido is their king. They know how terrifying Kaido is. They understand that the decision in this battle is not theirs, but the king. Whoever wins, and vice versa. Therefore, when they saw the light bulb-like light not far away accompanied by the smell of meat, they subconsciously thought that the battle was over. Because, they can feel the dangerous and deadly breath of ultimate from the lightning not far away. The lightning dissipated, and the scorched Kaido, corpse, appeared in everyone's sight. The Thunder 8 trigrams in his hand turned into a black dust and fell on the ground. Hum, the white fog filled the air. Kaido's body began to recover at a speed visible to the naked eye, and returned to normal in the blink of an eye. Thunderbolt, I didn't expect you to be a thunderfruit person, Kaido snarled. When the body showed, the blue dragon head suddenly appeared in everyone's sight, and after a while, it turned into a huge blue dragon and crashed into the building above and rose into the sky. Not to be outdone, Hanxing stepped on, followed closely behind, and disappeared from everyone's sight in the blink of an eye. You, Kaido boss, are not the captain's opponents when you are at full strength, let alone now. Our captain intends to accept you as his subordinates, and I don't want to really do anything to you. Redfield said to Jin and Quinn in front of him. I will never betray Boss Kaido, Jin replied coldly. The sword light flashed, and the sword energy rushed towards Redfield. Quinn did not show weakness, his fat fists brought gusts of wind, and the armed eruption slammed into the top of Redfield's head. Why? Redfield shook his head and smiled. The red umbrella was slashed in midair, and sword chi formed in midair. This sword chi was much stronger than Jin in both quantity and sharpness. After finishing Jin's attack, Redfield's face was calm and he clenched his fist. Armament Hockey, who was black with orange, suddenly collided with Quinn's fist. Advertisement. Boom. The flat ground suddenly collapsed, and the invisible impact rolled up into waves and turned into a storm that swept around. In the center, Quinn's expression changed. Puff. A mouthful of blood sprayed out. Then the whole person flew into the distance. Quinn, Jin yelled. During the change of the body, a black pterosaur with flames appeared out of thin air and spread its wings. Like an afterimage Madara appeared in front of Redfield, and the black claws ignited hot flames, tearing the air and rushing down Redfield's abdomen. Redfield's face remained unchanged. The red umbrella turned orange and black. With a random wave, the emission spun, and an invisible attack suddenly slammed into the back of the toothless pterodactyl. Boom. Emission's mighty force is like a volcanic eruption, and the mountains are heavy on the back, turning into figures and falling on the ground. Boom. Falling like a meteorite, the roaring sound exploded, shattered, smoke filled, and a deep pit appeared out of thin air. Kaido and Hanxing are gone, and the most notable thing is the battle between the two plagues and Redfield. Redfield's reputation is not obvious. 2 against 1. In the opinion of the 5 volleys, this is a sure win situation. The fact was beyond their expectations. Quinn and Jin fell behind one after another, and Quinn was even worse, but they saw the scene of Quinn spitting blood. Call out. The black wings were churning, and Jin appeared in midair without a single injury. Not far away, Quinn slowly walked towards Redfield, clutching his aching stomach. With a solemn face, he said, Jin, be careful. This guy, Emission. I know, I was hit by Emission just now. Jin's expression was flat, but his eyes were extremely solemn. Emission. That is another stage of armament hockey. Even if he is better than him, he is only master in the first stage. Advertisement. Roar. With a loud beast roar, a huge dinosaur appeared in everyone's sight. This is Brachiosaurus, an ancient species of zone, with strong attack and recovery. As this becoming demon fruit power, Redfield smiled indifferently. Damn it, don't think that this uncle is easy to bully. The giant dragon head spat out. With a roar, Quinn lowered his head and filled with black metal, appeared in front of Redfield in the blink of an eye. With a terrifying shock, his long head slammed out. The black pterosaur spread its wings and soared, and the flames filled its body, like a phoenix with fire, like a meteorite, suddenly slammed towards Redfield. Jin and Quinn looked at each other with a heavy expression on their faces. This person's strength is definitely not simple, and he may even be on the same level as Kaido's boss. Quinn was not to be outdone. The sharp Brachiosaurus claws, with terrifying strength, left 5 sharp scratches in the air, and grabbed towards Redfield. At the same time, a figure flew from a distance, bringing up bursts of rubble and dust, leaving a long trail in the hall. On the other hand, the red umbrella slapped Quinn directly on the head. Splitting in 2 doesn't even matter, he doesn't have the terrifying recovery of Boss Kaido. Jin bleeds all over his body, to be precise, from the top of his head to the bottom of his body. Like Kaido, a knife mark runs through his body. To read the underlined version of the novel, please download the Philo Novel app. Whoosh, how is that possible? X. Boom. The flame went out, and the black figure fell to the ground like a meteor, making a huge roar. The white mist filled the air, and Jin's body returned to its original shape, looking at Redfield with horror in his eyes but more of surprise. Don't do indifferent labor, you are not my opponents. To be honest, I didn't even use my true strength to fight with you. If it wasn't for the captain's order, if I would subdue you in the future, the 2 of you would have already died. Redfield said calmly. Advertisement. You still don't know how strong I am, and you still have luck in your heart. Redfield frowned and said coldly. Not to be outdone, Jin in the sky swung his sword, the sword light flickered, and the sword energy slashed towards Redfield. Redfield manipulates the tip of the umbrella and pulls it out of Quinn's head. At the same time, the sword energy in the sky was also blocked by the invisible emission. At this time, Redfield can be said to be the enemy. So what? We will never betray Boss Kaido. Quinn shook his head, walked out of the pothole, saw Jin not far away, and the 2 looked at each other in silence. Underscore. The red umbrella waved towards the flaming pterosaur in the distance, and then, with a thought, the invisible emission covered its entire body. He knew very well that if the sword chi was just a little bit more ruthless, his whole person would be divided into 2 by that sword chi. The sword energy and the flames in the sky flashed by, gathered into a giant fist and slammed into Quinn's head. Not far away, Ling Kong Woozy, who was always paying attention to the battle in the distance, was full of shock in his eyes. Whoa, like Kaido, a white mist filled Quinn's head, and Quinn's head returned to its original shape in an instant. The sword energy is vertical and horizontal, and the dazzling slash is extremely sharp. It seems to cut through the air, cut through the space, and cut through everything in front of it. I saw that the head of the red umbrella was slightly submerged into Quinn's head. In the face of 2-sided attacks, he was unusually calm and unhurried, and the emission flow turned into a barrier to resist the sword energy attack from above. Boom. It sounded like wine opening a rubber stopper. Invisible waves sounded from around the 2 of them. The storm swept through the room, and drops of blood spilled from Quinn's head. Chapter 425. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. This fight is out of the question. The 2 of them together are not the opponents of the man in the red cape in front of them. Let's delay the time. Wait for Kaido boss to finish. At the same time, the 2 also understand that the strength in front of them is definitely on the same level as Kaido's boss. On the other side, they always pay attention to the 2 disasters and their faces are extremely ugly. In this battlefield, even though they were 5 on 2, they didn't have the upper hand at all. The swordsman Yuchi smiled, combined with gravity and swordsmanship, even with rough skin and thick flesh, he couldn't bear the layers of scars on his body. Boom. With 2 loud beast roars, Ulti and Pejuan transformed themselves one after another. 2 huge dinosaurs appeared in front of everyone, and one had long spines on its back. The top of the head is swollen like a big giant tumor. These 2 are Pejuan and Ulti Devil Fruit ability, zone ancient species Spinosaurus and Pachycephalosaurus. After the 2 used Devil Fruit, their strength was greatly improved, and the 2 were sisters and brothers, and they cooperated seamlessly in battle, and they fought with Bullet for a while. Bullet's main attack is the fist, plus armament hockey. As for the fruit ability, it can be used here. After all, this is going to be their base in the future, and it takes time to rebuild it. This also leads to the fact that the 3 battlefields are the most intense here, and it should not be said that the destruction of buildings is the most intense. Peggy Wan and Ulti turned into dinosaurs, not only improved their offense and defense, but also their ability to resist attacks. As for Bullet, it was also a dead brain, and the 3 of them smashed everything around them like a plow. The ground, the door, were basically smashed by the aftermath of their battle. Good, as expected of Kaido's subordinates. This battle is so happy, so happy. Bullet's dark blue armament filled his body, and he shouted happily. You use the fruit power, then I will use the strongest power in my normal state. Looking at the 2 dinosaurs in front of him, Bullet gave a wicked smile. The blood-colored aura erupted like Wang Yang. The monstrous blood chi rose to the sky, covering the surroundings. Advertisement. This murderous aura, it's so strong. Peggy spit out a human voice. What's so strong? Let the old lady kill him later. A clear and pleasant voice came from the mouth of Ulti's thick-headed dragon. While the 2 were talking, the blood energy around Bullet began to converge, and the body could not be seen. It was all dark blue armed guards. But the eyes were extremely scarlet, like 2 red lights, causing both Ulti and Pejuan to wrinkle their brows. This is my devil form. I hope you like it. The powerful pressure all over the body radiated like a tidal wave, and the terrifying killing intent was like a substance, shrouding the two of them like a mountain of corpses in a sea of blood. Click, click. Bullet crossed his hands and swayed back and forth, and there was a sound of bones breaking like fried beans resounding around him. Call out. In the next instant, the whole person disappeared in place like an afterimage. Ulti's beast's eyes flashed with surprise. So fast. This can't be fast. It's not an exaggeration to call it teleportation. Her observation Haki can only perceive blurred afterimages. The black metal luster filled the air, and the body of the tall, thick-headed dragon turned black like ink in an instant. The thick head stretched forward, with an extremely terrifying impact. The earth shook like a mountain, and appeared on the bullet attack route. Compared to attack with me, it's beyond your own power. With a cold snort, the ghostly energy erupted. The fist was like an afterimage, as heavy as a meteorite, and suddenly slammed into the head of the thick-headed dragon. Boom! The ground collapsed, invisible like rolling waves, turning into rushing in all directions. Crash, crash! A beast shadow's foot grabbed the ground and retreated unconsciously towards the distance, leaving 2 long scratches on the ground. Advertisement. Hum. With a flick of the black iron tail, the air burst into violent rumblings, and the terrifying force made the surrounding space unnaturally distorted. This is Peggy 1 attacked. Bullet was filled with murderous aura. His face was indifferent, and he grabbed his hands forward. That iron tail, which is enough to destroy a hill, was directly caught by Bullet. The body exerted a little force, and the entire Spinosaurus was grabbed by the swinging arena. Its body swirled like a whirlwind, and then a huge beast's eyes flew into the distance with a burst of dizziness. Boom! Amidst the dust, a small pothole quietly appeared. On the other side, Black Maria, who was fighting with a smile, frowned, her face ugly. The situation is not optimistic. Not to mention on the Bullet side, the Ulti siblings are not at the top at all, not to mention the 2 disasters side. And they are here, not to mention, you can see the sword marks on everyone's body. Damn it, where did this Hanxing find these 3 perverts? He even pressed us to fight. With another sword mark on his body, Sasaki's face turned ashen. 3. Don't resist. You are not my opponents. It has become a fact that Beast's pirates joined our purple-eyed Thunder Emperor pirates. Why do you need to resist more? He closed his eyes with a smile and said with a smile. Although he can see it now, he has been used to it for many years with his eyes closed, and it is difficult to change for a while, but fortunately, he just closed his eyes to fight, and opened them after the battle. Really, I don't think Boss Kaido is going to lose. Fuzifu grinned. Turning to look at the 2 of Sasaki, he said solemnly, show all your strength. Don't let outsiders underestimate our Beast's pirates. The words fall. Yang Tian shouted. The terrifying and violent aura erupted from the body like rolling waves, covering the surrounding 100 meters in an instant. Advertisement. The hurricane roared, cracks in the ground burst out of thin air, and dust clouds completely enveloped the place. At the same time, Fuzifu's body began to grow taller, fangs grew in his mouth, his hands turned into sharp claws, and gray hair instantly covered him. Wow, a powerful claws poke the dust out from the inside. This is a tiger. To be precise, it is an ancient saber-toothed tiger. The limbs are strong and powerful, you can clearly see the knotted muscles on the legs, the sharp claws are extremely sharp, and there is a cold light shining in the surrounding light. Zone. Ancient species. Saber-toothed tiger form. A smile murmured. Whoop, whoop. As soon as the voice fell, 2 loud voices sounded around. Winding and circling, the body is thick, the snake's letter is hesitant, and the snake's eyes are erect, making people shudder. Standing vertically, the whole body covers the sky and the sun, like a giant standing in the sky, smiling like an ant in front of it. Zone. Ancient species. Titan python. He smiled and pondered. Award. Jushi said in a pleasant voice. It was the 6 sons of Lincoln who were one of the 2 women, Black Maria. Different from the fishy smell in the mouth of other giant snakes, there is no smell in Black Maria's mouth, but there is a slight fragrance in the mouth, perhaps because of the reason of being a human being. Another Sasaki's transformation is a bit more common than Titan python and saber-toothed tiger. Also zone ancient species but triceratops. It wears a triangle on its head, has a long meat shield on its neck, and its limbs stand on the ground like pillars. As expected of the beast's pirates, high ups are all rare zones. Ancient species. It's really hard to do Kaido of the beasts. He smiled and opened his eyes with emotion.